Hey, Chaos.
Hey.
You feeling better?
Yeah, no migraines today, just a little tickle in my throat, but that's normal.
Migraines cause tickles in your throat.
He said no migraine today, just a tickle in my throat.
Yes, but I thought it was linked to migraines in some way.
No, he was just saying he didn't have a migraine.
Oh, no, man. I thought, he was saying, oh yeah, my migraines have after effects.
I'm being stupid!
No, you can't make me.
But yeah, sorry that my headache condition got in the way of doing recordings yesterday.
It's fine, I didn't.
The D&D thing yesterday I was late too because I was passed out for a while.
Yeah, you didn't miss a whole lot, although you did fuck over so many fucking plans.
Oh no, you did miss a lot, but it was fine. It wasn't really disruptive.
When he was asleep.
Oh, yesterday.
Because I was late, I fucked over a few things.
No. When you got back, you fucked over a few things. I'm currently dealing with the fallout you created with an emperor.
Yep.
Wow, a character of yours actually dealing with fallout.
Doesn't feel good being on the receiving end, does it? Also, when are you gonna get yourself in the fucking thing? For someone who gets into the chat quickly, you tend to be slow to getting into the actual
I was other stuff and completely blanked on it.
You are an idiot.
I was writing for my fucking campaign. Get off my ass.
No.
My
You're an idiot.
campaign,
Keep
I have to
moving
deal
on.
with assault and such power scaling where one person's horribly powerful, the other person makes a great reason to just move the plot along because they're a divination wizard, and I can just be like, listen to the magic. It'll tell you what to do.
Okay, well.
This is why I like being a role player, because at that point, I don't have to try to build the biggest thing. I just have to be the most. I just want to act out the character, you know?
Oh no, they're doing fine on that. It's just most of them are power gamers or have just builds.
Power gamers tend to ruin the fun.
You're telling me.
All I have is Tauntaun. Tauntaun is Tauntaun. He's not really built for power, he's just kind of built to be an asshole.
You're telling me.
Yes I am.
You built. I'm sorry. You built everything to be an asshole. As far as I'm concerned, at this point, you have not built one character where someone did not want you fucking dead, like literally.
That's not true.
Prove it.
Just because you haven't seen them doesn't mean they don't exist.
Prove it.
Alright, I want to say I named her Jasper. Her whole thing was literally, she is a fighter who had the homebrew subclass of Packmaster. She was a small little kobold, about 5 years old, absolutely adorable, and the second she considered you part of her pack, she would kill.
Wow.
No matter how slight of an injury you cause on them, she would murder.
Imagine that. A character of yours that isn't horrible.
You made a murder hobo, okay. Not liking it. Moving on.
I mean, not really.
You've been injured. Time to put you down.
That's what I was thinking.
She kills what injured.
That's what you said, you idiot.
No, that's not what he meant. I knew what he meant. I was making a joke. What he meant was whoever hurt them is who gets the kill.
Friend of mine that introduced
You made the euthanasia kobold.
Friend of mine that introduced me to D&D, she said that she had a cleric that was like worshipping a god of death or something, and as a joke, whenever somebody was dead, she'd always be like, okay, I'm gonna cast this thing that would just instantly kill you, and everyone's like, wait, no, and she reluctantly healed afterwards.
I had a cleric who was very much he never explained what god he worshipped, but he always believed that if you died with sin, you had to work off your sin before you could make it to an afterlife. So he would animate dead the bodies and force the bodies to work off the sin, And anytime a party member got close to dying, he would always say something along the lines of, "Don't worry, I'll still put you to good use."
Wow.
I also had a cleric that refused to heal, ever.
Did he have healing spells or anything?
No.
Okay.
War clerics are a thing, yeah.
Because he was a paladin cleric hybrid that I used all of the spell slots for smites. And
Again, that just sounds like a war cleric with extra steps.
And the DM tried so desperately to make me use a healing spell, and I just never did it. I refused. So last time, you all tried to help the kobolds and fought Rashi. Things didn't go according to plan, but you all managed to escape with your lives. And then all of you were pretty down in the dumps, and suddenly one of your cartwheels seemed to have broken off, and shenanery with the goose occurred, leaving us where we are now as Hubert repairs the cart.
Thorgrim is grumbling in equal parts human, common and dwarven, basically entailing stupid goose, grumble, mumble.
Hale's just sitting and looking out the window.
Jubilee is making sure that her top's not going to get stolen again.
So,
Go ahead.
has anyone ever thought about why that damn goose is a thing?
Several times, but I don't think we are any closer to an answer.
Just, I mean, every time it shows up, it has these weird powers, and this is gonna sound obvious, but a goose is not supposed to be able to do that.
Do you think we're going to figure out that answer by talking about it here?
I thought somebody already had, but...
Well, the answer is obvious. It is a childlike being that wants to play. That's all there is to it.
Is it?
What, do you have another idea?
No, but it just seems too simple.
Well, if it is too simple, we might find out. Eventually. But right now, we should probably focus on going to our destination. The longer we wait around, the more likely we'll hear from Rashi. Or worse.
Oh. Where are we going again? I kind of got distracted.
Tempest.
Right.
Eventually, Hubert will stand up and says, "I fixed the wheel.
Excellent.
So long as nothing else tampers with it, we should be fine."
Hubert Thorgrim immediately looks over his shoulder.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Must find things that will tamper with wheel.
As you look around, for a briefest moment, in a tree, a glove seeming to stare at you before slowly slinking into it.
A glove? A glove?
Yes.
Okay.
Last session, you saw Edelsarday give the goose a glove, and the goose put it on its head.
Right. Hurry into the vehicle, into the carriage. Just stupid goose.
You recognize you're getting angry at someone with the mind of a child, yes? Considering
You just-
your parents, I thought you would have the patience here.
My Lady Adelsarde, you sure are being scornful right now.
No reply.
Fulgrim, would you like to do the honors of driving?
Sure, yeah, I got it. I'll settle into the front and do the old yeah.
All right.
Once everybody's in, of course.
Yeah, we don't want to leave Squid. Wait, where? Oh, there he is. Wait, where's? Oh, okay, there she is. Fuck.
Literally beside you in both directions.
After what happened with Squib, I never want to leave someone behind again.
Yeah, I know, right?
Where are they? Right there.
Where are they? Right here. Right here.
All right. So, as the carriage begins moving along, a few minutes pass by, and in the distance up ahead, you all see smoke.
That's never a good thing.
Hold on.
That's
Is the smoke from like a place that we know?
Doesn't appear to be. No.
It'll look to the smoke before looking to Zorlu. This is your land. What's his out in that direction?
Thorblue just slowly shrugs and says, "Hills." There isn't a residence there, as far as I know. Could be any number of things. Could be goblins burning down a merchant's carriage or something. I don't know.
Yes, we will have to investigate then.
Tempest can wait.
For now.
So do you head toward the smoke?
Thorgrim is going to go like, yeah, and then turn them around. You know, turn the animal of choice around to go towards to smoke.
The panther. He's probably looking at you
panther?
annoyed.
Yeah, like meow, angry cat noises.
Oh no, sorry. No, it was the giant elf.
It's a giant elk this time.
Sorry.
Oh,
It sounds like ring race.
So I'd probably get crushed by it. Great.
Did y'all know that? The ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings are just elk sounds.
Never watched
Cool.
Lord of the Rings.
Neat. Neat. Anyways.
Ooh, nice.
Just throw ring wraith sounds as the elk moves.
Oh.
Adel will look out. We
As you
see.
get
Oh, sorry.
as you get closer, you all see the source of the smoke is actually a large pyre up at the top of one of. You know what? I'll place something for you guys to understand where the fire is. And it didn't get put. Wonderful. There we go. It's a large pyre at the top of one of the hills, burning brightly.
Is this where we came from?
It looks similar to the place where we first saw the goblins, but I don't think it's
Yeah,
the
because I
same.
see this and I'm like,
I think it's the same map, but it's just rotated. I don't think it's the same place that we fought goblins for the first time.
Can we from this distance see the corpses and the other figures?
Yes, you see several armored figures with only a handful of goblin corpses, but all of the goblin corpses seem to be some variation of charred, burnt, or having been on fire previously in their life.
Adel is gonna take a look at this before just reaching back and pulling the hood over Squib's head.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
What on earth are those people?
Armored people? I don't know.
Only one way to find out. Let's go say hi.
Very well.
'Cause, I mean, they're killing goblins. They can't want to kill us.
Right, assuming that is not wise, but sneaking up on them is even less wise. Let's go say
I mean,
hello.
I think it's late for that of our day.
Sorry, what? What do you say?
It's a
You
bit
said I
late
think
for
it's a bit late for that.
Oh, it's a bit late for that.
Yeah, because if you're paying attention to the map, the guy in the big spiky armor has been moving the entire time, moving towards us.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
I did. That's
Oh.
because I'm a wizard, so I always have it all zoomed out.
Adol will then take off her cloak and also dump it atop Squib so he's even less visible and then head out of the carriage.
Thorgrim will also go out of the carriage and look all defensive and stuff.
Tauntaun is going to stay in the carriage like the squishy wizard he is. Partially because I want to grab some milk.
Okay. So the armored fellow is walking down the path and comes to a stop, and you see that on his back he has a very large warhammer, he has a great hammer. There we go. And he's just slowly looking you both over. Eventually, you can tell that his eyes lock on Adel Sarday, however.
Adol watches back, but doesn't say much.
From what sect do you hail?
Come again?
You are Drow, yes?
I'm not from any place that you're thinking I am. I am not from this country.
I see. What brings you here?
Well, we were in the middle of our travels, and then we saw you burning goblins. We assumed that it was goblins attacking someone else, but it seems that you beat us to it.
Yeah. We had actually chased them to finish off the nest that was in this area.
You're after the nest in this area?
The nest is no longer a problem.
Did the nest have any undead in it by any chance?
We have only found the one nest since our pilgrimage has begun.
She'll peer over the armored person's shoulder at the others. There's only 5 of you?
Right.
And you dealt with a goblin nest, which, from what I've heard, has hundreds?
Thousands.
How?
With the blessing of the Mother of Flame. We poured liquid fire down the entrance of the cave.
That's a good way to get rid of a bunch of them.
Alright.
Agreed.
I have a few more questions, but the most pertinent one. Who exactly are you?
I am Brorin. Called Death. Hold on. There you go.
Is he human or does he look dwarven sized?
He is human-sized, but you can't tell his race due to his armor.
Ah,
So he could just be a very tall dwarf.
And you assumed I was part of a sect? A sect of what?
Drow,
Drow have sects?
of course.
Please
Well, yeah.
elaborate.
Everyone had that.
Sect of what? Religion?
What? Religion and/or family.
Are you part of a sect?
I follow the Mother of Flame.
So the sect of the Mother of Flame, they sent you out here?
The Mother of Flame sent me out here, not the Sect.
I see.
Was it part of a religious calling, or some sort of a prophecy or something?
It was a calling to purge the lands of the filthy goblins.
Okay, Goblin Slayer, calm it down.
There is a nest in this area. I thought that you dealt with it already, but apparently not, which has been a large issue. You might want to look into it.
There are several nests. It is finding them that is one of the major issues.
We happen to know where it is.
Explain.
Well, can we see the tree from here?
Yeah, it's in the distance, but...
She'll gesture over to the tree. A war is being raged over that tree. Somebody is using undead, using a goblin nest as a fuel for the army to attack the tree. There wasn't really much we could do about the nest, and the army is constantly spawning from said nest. With your help, we might be able to take it down.
The work of a necromancer.
Indeed.
Greetings. But a dead body should not be desecrated, turned into undead. It should be burned and reduced to ash.
Right. Well. Roy. Would you be willing to help us take out this goblin nest?
Roll persuasion with disadvantage.
Oh, brother. Let's see if I can do it. I doubt it, but hey. Nope.
I will have to consult the Mother of Flame to see if that is what she desires of me.
How long will that take?
Given that many of my brothers in arms could be praying to her at the same time, I do not know.
Alright. Do you have a way that we could contact one another?
That is not a capability I am capable of.
Alright. Let's see. Alright. In which case, how long do you think you'll be in this area?
That is currently undetermined.
Okay. Well, if you're still in this area, I'll try to send you a message magically. Perhaps in a few days. And if you're still willing to work with me, we can meet here. Or near the goblin nest. I'll give you directions. Is that okay with you?
Very well, but you have yet to tell me your title.
My name is Abel Sarday.
He slowly nods. He slowly nods to this.
Very well. It was nice meeting with you, boy. And
May our paths cross again, should the Lady of Flame determine it to be.
if she allows it. She'll then head back inside the carriage.
Thorgrim will nod his head in respect and then go back to the carriage.
Guys, we're out there for a while.
Tauntaun, hide Patterson, otherwise we might get attacked and he might be burned into ashes.
I mean, he's in the carriage.
Hide him nonetheless. Anyway, hopefully we might have made an ally that will help us deal with the goblin nest. Those are people that work in a sect under someone called the Night... not the Night Mother, that's Elder Scrolls. The Mother of Flame. They go around burning goblin nests. And she'll take the cloak off a squid. And they detest necromancy. We might be able to work with them to get rid of the goblin nest Rashi is using to fuel his army. We'll just have to be careful. There might be a chance that these are the same people linked with the ones that have been dealing with the pirates. So, we'll need to be wary. Anyway, let's keep going.
Thorgrim, do you continue along the path?
I thought we were going to Tempest.
Yeah, I know, but do you continue along
This is
path?
along the way to Tempest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be right back. Just, if you're gonna say anything more, hold on to it for a little bit.
Oh boy.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily involve Thorgrim. I just needed to know if he was using it. So as Thorgrim continues driving, you all notice one of the armored folk. His head perks up before he immediately turns and looks at the carriage. And you can't hear them due to the fact that you are within it, but Brorin walks forward and holds his hand for you, for it to stop.
Ada will poke her head out. Is something the matter?
My compatriot senses devil blood within your carriage.
Is that a problem?
Potentially. I request you allow me to see them.
Ada will look to Jubilee.
Jubilee looks back.
I love how you assume it's Jubilee they're sensing.
Devil blood.
Jubilee is half devil, right? I am remembering correctly.
She's a tiefling. She's not necessarily half devil. She is just devil.
Eh, well,
She has basically she has devil blood in her.
alright.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 50 and minuscule.
It's all the same. I'm not from this area either, so I don't share any similarities with the ones you've previously encountered, sir.
Are you saying this where he can see you or not?
Not really. No.
I request you allow me to see you.
Under the condition that you do not attack.
He will stand there and wait. And Adel Sarday, judging by the posture that the other knights behind him have, the request to see Jubilee is not actually a request. It is a demand that will be met.
Adel sighs and gets out of the carriage, but nods to Jubilee.
I'll follow, and just hands up.
Here she is.
Step forward before holding up his right hand in front of your forehead, Jubilee, and for a moment you feel a warmth tingle along you before he nods and says, "You may continue." And then he goes back to collecting goblin corpses to throw into the pyre.
What was
DM,
that?
did he just do a sense evil? I mean, found nothing.
He was detecting what your alignment was.
Oh,
So he knows I'm a good girl, quote unquote.
yeah, but is that a good thing or not?
Possibly paladin, so probably a good thing.
You never know.
So he knows I wasn't lying.
So did the
Well-
kobold, and look how that went.
The problem is you're chaotic good, so you may have been lying, but he knows that you're good. That's all he cares about.
Look, I'm a little tricksy. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
He knows you're good enough.
Like, okay, not smiting this one today.
She's not evil and should be fine.
I'm not evil. I'm just a little bit on the tricksy side. That's all.
You're not
Same as
neutral.
I thought.
You're not neutral either, which is also a defining characteristic as to why you didn't get attacked. Alright, so the rest of your journey back to Castle Tempest, or no, I shouldn't say Castle Tempest, but I'm gonna call it that, goes relatively uneventfully. This is the wrong thing, my bad.
Oh boy, we're back in Looney Tunes again.
There we go, that's better. Oh wait, Charlie, you're not here, go away.
Alright. Yeah, we'll get the carriage and start heading along. Zorblue? Wait, where is he?
Oh, hold on.
I thought
Hold
I
on.
forgot. That would have been upsetting.
Zorblue, son of a bitch, we did a squib.
A royalty, no less.
A royal squib, if you will.
Right. Yeah, we'll head along.
Oh, good. We didn't horribly die because of my snap decision. Sorry.
No, we are dead. This is the afterlife. Heaven looks really weird.
Yeah, there's a strange dragon in it.
Yeah, heaven looks like Tempest's castle. It's weird.
Here's another weird question. How the fuck did Tauntaun get to heaven?
I was going to make that joke, but I thought it'd be too mean.
Nope.
No, Tauntaun is by far possibly the most criminally insane out of all of us.
You don't
Possibly.
have... anyway.
I mean, Jubilee's like a close second or beats him on criminal acts.
So, Ada
There's also
will,
the fact he sold his soul.
Ada will stop and look to Tempest. Tempest?
He nods to let you know that he hears you, but he does not look away from what he is doing.
Never does.
Zorblue, this is the dragon I was mentioning before.
You just see Zorblue staring at him with wide eyes.
Tempest, we require your help again. There's a weapon that's sealed inside Zorblue's heart, and we need you to unseal it.
Without hurting him?
The easiest way would be to simply kill him.
As easy and simple as that would be, I'd rather not do that unless we absolutely have to.
You just see him let out a grumbly sigh, almost similar to an alligator growl, before he slowly pushes aside what he was working on and looks specifically to Zorblue and goes, "What is sealed away?" That's not his. What is sealed away within him?
A weapon
Uh-oh.
which was... you go.
Supposedly something that killed a god? Or it was the one that killed a bunch of dragons?
Interesting.
Could be any number of ones.
That is worthy of my attention.
Anyways, can you do this without killing him?
The
Or
rest,
harming him?
the rest of you go. He says, waving his hand, and Zorblue appears in front of him.
Adel nods and then heads along. Alright.
You ever get the feeling we're not wanted in a lot of places lately?
You are a tiefling and I am a drow. It's very clear that many people do not like us for our race.
I'm
Yeah.
more surprised nobody dislikes me.
People do dislike you, you just ignore it.
I meant more so because of what I do. As in the race thingy.
You literally could disguise yourself as anything at this point, Tauntaun. You just choose to be obvious.
Adel stops on the steps and looks at the others. You don't have to follow me. I'm just waiting out here.
Oh, I thought we were going somewhere.
No,
I kinda did too.
you should probably go wait with Squib and Ricky.
If you insist. Still, I always thought you would have enjoyed some conversation.
No, Lady Adelsade wishes some time alone.
Well, nods as she walks away.
Jubilee.
Hmm?
As I do not have to spend my time watching over Adelsarde due to the fact that she needs some alone time, would you like me to teach you a series of stretches that can help you not pull a muscle while you dance?
Are you coming on to me?
I am not. I am simply offering my services.
You know what? It should serve as a good distraction from all the stress we've had. Sure, why not?
He nods to you and motions you to lead the way.
Got any locations that would do well?
Anywhere you would feel comfortable.
Okay. Just gonna go to the hallway over here because I don't want to do it in a bedroom specifically. I just want enough room to do one-on-one, you know?
Yep.
I mean, wash closet, broom closet.
The back of my Chevy.
Closet.
It's roomy.
God damn. I'm trying not to do horny jubilee today, but you guys are not making it easy.
Oh god, we killed Scorp.
That means I get shit. You good, man?
I don't know why this hit me so hard.
What the
The
fuck?
fact that he just did it like without missing a beat.
It was funny, but damn, it wasn't that funny.
I don't know why my brain has just decided this is the thing that breaks me.
To be fair, when you sent the cross-eyed toothless to me, that broke me, and I don't know why.
Wait, what cross-eyed toothless?
A long time ago, Charlie said something along the lines of, "I may be stupid, but I'm not dumb." And in shit posting, I posted. I don't remember if it was toothless or a cat, but it was something looking. It was something looking in two different directions, and I made it
just
seem
lost my
Charlie
shit.
was the one who said that.
And again, I just lost my shit at it for some reason. Oh, okay. Do I need to make any rolls, DM, or is there something gonna happen?
Performance. We'll see how well you can actually follow.
It was a cat.
Oh, it must have been the private DMs with Toothless. Oh.
I mean, it looks kind of like toothless.
Okay, performance. Because I'm not very well healed either.
Hubert is showing you some stretches, and as you're going along, you have discovered that there are some muscles that you have not realized have gotten so tight over the years that seem to have never been stretched before in your life.
Oh, I know
As
that.
he is slowly leading you along and showing you these stretches.
Okay, you're sure you're not flirting with me at this point? Because I don't want Adelsarde mad at us.
I'm positive.
Alright.
I am.
Because I know I joke around with it a lot, but I seriously do think you two deserve each other.
I am merely following Lady Adelsarde's order to become more friendly with the party, and as she does not wish me to be near her presently, now is an ample opportunity to do so.
I suppose that makes sense. Seriously though, how do you know these stretches? This is actually amazing.
I was taught
finding out I had muscles on muscles where I didn't know I even had muscles.
I was taught many things to ensure Lady Adelsarde stayed in very healthy condition.
I know you don't mean anything by that, but that still sounds creepy. No offense.
None taken. A comment
Again,
such as
it's-
that would never get under my skin.
It's only because we know each other at this as well as we do at this point that I know that was meant in the best way possible. In any case, I almost feel like you were a dancer at some point. That would have been a sight to see.
I was taught many dances during my time of learning.
Fascinating.
If ever there was a formal event that Lady Needlesword had to attend, I was also there. I had to know how to dance, in case it ever came up.
That makes sense. Although dancing is still quite useful even in combat to avoid attacks, to stay limber and all that.
It's very similar to what I do. I simply dodge.
Dance floor can also be a battlefield, if you think about it hard enough.
If the battlefield,
Battlefield if you're angry at us.
if the battlefield is trying to step on as many people's toes as possible, perhaps.
I can imagine Needlesword doing an accent, then you doing it on purpose just to make her feel better.
It depends on who.
There's got to be a story behind that.
Perhaps, but not one that will be shared this day.
Fair enough. So, how do we do this stretch again?
Hubert will show you once more how to do
Of
it.
course.
And you find the more you do it, as with most stretches, the easier it gets over time.
Of course.
So what are the rest of y'all doing?
Well, it seems that the dining hall is mostly unguarded, so I'm just gonna mosey my way over there and scarf down as
Taking time.
much food as I can.
We
And
must
taking time.
defend from the dwarf. Hold the line.
As you begin scarfing down food, you look over and you see Riki has a fish tail hanging out of her mouth as she's chewing.
A what hanging out? What?
Fish tail.
Fish tail.
Oh, okay. I thought you said a thick pail. I was like, what? A bucket?
What?
No, a
She's
fish
eating a
tail.
bucket.
The tail of a fish.
Nah, she eating a bucket.
Damn, that
Yeah.
KFC's so tasty.
That KFC's so tasty, you gotta eat the bucket.
While he's eating, while he's got all manner of food shoved into his mighty jaws, he will give a thumbs up to Ricky from across the across the tables and not say anything, but just kind of just do the old "good job, kid."
All right.
Warp Dad approves.
And now Tauntaun and Adelsarte.
Ayla's just sitting and looking out.
Tauntaun just kind of sitting there.
Yeah,
Hanging out with
Ayla's,
Adelsword Day up here.
Ayla's sort of braced herself for Tauntaun to see her do something annoying.
No, he just sitting there.
Huh. Alright.
I literally flipped a coin to decide what he would do. Heads, it was gonna be he asks her to talk about it, whatever it may be. Tails was just sit in silence. I got Tails.
Well, yep, that's just what they're doing, I guess.
All right.
What are we doing? Nothing.
Nothing is still something.
I mean, we're also technically sitting 6 feet apart.
Because we're not gay?
I was about to say.
No! Because we're social distancing, dummy! God!
I'm gay as hell. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Tauntaun will fuck anything that's sentient, is able to consent, and is of age. That's his only
Are you
requirement.
sure about that? Well, that poor horse.
He may have awakened it first.
Mother of mercy.
You made just a callback joke.
That's a callback joke.
It is a callback.
Session
And now
what?
somewhere there's a sentient horse.
Session 6? I don't friggin' know.
I want to
The
say it
comments
was
will
like,
correct us.
I want to say it was like session 1 or 2.
Maybe.
Because we were trying to
quote-
get a horse.
To quote Tauntaun, I'll fuck a horse if it'll get us something.
Yeah.
That was a quote by you, sir.
The one
Yeah,
that
that's
made
good.
poor Zojin lose
Yeah,
his
no,
faith
Todd will
in
just fuck
humanity.
anything with a horse. Or a tree. I wouldn't put it past him to fuck a tree.
Nom 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 nom.
Well, after a while, Adel will get hungry, so she's gonna go get some food.
Sounds. Cricket. Cricket sounds. Cricket sounds.
So, you see Squib, Riki, and Thorgrim all eating, and as you sit down, you see Hubert currently leading Jubilee in some exercises.
She will stare for a few moments, and then she will grab a plate and head off.
When she grabs a plate, Thorgrim just waves with one hand while stuffing some chicken in his mouth with his other hand.
It's almost like she doesn't even notice you.
She is very upset. Even all that.
Translation. Wonder what that was about.
Where'd my coin go? Fucking bastard. Nice.
Eventually, Hubert will stop leading you and stretches Jubilee, and he says, I do believe I'm going to go for a walk.
Alright. Just try to stay safe.
Of course. Hubert will eventually walk toward the front and leave. So, what do the rest of y'all do?
Tauntaun's going to ignore the food
Okay.
and go to Edelgard.
Don't really know what Jubilee is gonna do.
Is it in the afterglow of amazing stretching? Because, like, I've had good stretches before. That shit feels amazing.
Except for when it doesn't.
Yup.
That sounds like a you guys problem. I've never had that problem.
Then you've never had a real stretch.
Yep.
I mean, Fabio's always done me well, so.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ale's just sadly eating a salad.
Angry rabbit munches.
Sad salad.
Wait, hold on. Is this salad made with normal lettuce or slow lettuce?
I don't know.
And yes, I'm going to make this kale joke whenever the fuck I get the chance.
Whatever. I don't freaking know.
I will never pass up a chance to just reference a gorilla calling kale slow lettuce. Tauntaun just gonna sit.
It's shit posting is what I imagine it'll start doing right now.
Hold on, I gotta see this first. Goblins. Go all the way to the bottom. That's so adorable.
Why is the
Anyway.
rabbit so mad?
Cause it gotta eat, and it had a fight with its mom and or wife. Wouldn't be surprised if some rabbits are inbred.
So, Idle Sarday, you see Tauntaun and Patterson coming to join you, and Patterson leaves.
Tauntaun just going to sit and do, like, a clap. A single clap. You know the kind of clap that some people do when they're just like, alright, I need your attention?
Yes?
Yeah, he's doing one of those claps.
Well, she ain't turning her head to look at you.
It'll say, hey, what the fuck's going on with you?
It'll
Because
just...
at this point, it's fucking weird. You didn't yell at me when I didn't leave.
You're free to do what you want. Isn't that what you want anyway?
Technically, yes.
Then enjoy it.
But it feels weird not being yelled at by you. What the fuck's going on? Because you also don't want Hubert near you, and that's fucking weird.
Ale raises an eyebrow. Again. And then just shakes her head. If you're worried about me yelling at you, staying within my vicinity when I'm clearly not asking for it is a good way to get that.
I mean, yeah, usually. However, there's also the issue that I was almost a licensed therapist. I can tell when shit's wrong. What the fuck's wrong?
I do not want you as my therapist.
Technically almost licensed.
That doesn't
And this
change.
isn't me trying to be your therapist. This is me trying to be, I guess, a friend?
You're considering me a friend. What
I
changed?
consider you as close enough to me as I need to worry about your mental health at times. Yes.
Your sudden empathy is very suspect.
Really, empathy, more just weird. Just being weird. It's kind of my gig.
If only we could all be as uniquely weird as you.
I wouldn't say my weirdness is unique. Pretty much everyone in the cult was about the same. Varying degrees.
Right.
Then again, it was a cult that was dead set on the end of the world, so...
Either way, I am going to finish my salad. And if you're not going to leave, then I will leave instead.
Elosade, please, for the love of God, just speak it out. I'll sign a contract stating that I won't tell anyone, but I just... no.
No.
That'd be right.
You gotta talk to someone.
I am fine.
I'll give you Patterson's skull. He's not even able to form full words yet.
Your jokes are not appreciated. And as I said, I am fine.
That wasn't a joke?
Right, I forget with you. But as I'm saying, for the fourth time, I'm fine.
That's what someone who isn't fine would say.
Even if I said I wasn't fine, that's just telling you what you want to hear.
No, not really.
I appreciate that you're almost worried about me. But
There's no almost about that.
But as I keep telling you, I am fine.
That's doubtful. I'm gonna continue to press this issue in the future.
Sorry, what?
Tauntaun literally just said, that's doubtful. I'm going to continue to press this issue in the future.
Fine, do what you want. It's not like you would listen to me anyway.
I usually don't.
Alright, I'm back.
Hi, welcome back. Tauntaun's just gonna get up, start walking away.
She's going to eat at first, but then stop and just look at Patterson.
Hello.
Patterson, please leave me alone.
Patterson will get up, pat you twice on the head, and then leave.
She is frozen for like a good second, like she's processing this.
Pedal Sarday making dial-up noises.
Basically.
Patterson pats you basically in the there type way and leaves.
There.
Patterson,
I know my father's a lot to handle.
Patterson has found Adol Sarday's reboot button.
There, I am Patterson.
Pat, I used to be dead. God, there's so many memes that we can make out of just Patterson.
I think that goes for like the party most of the time.
Yeah, but I feel like Patterson memes are just like way more. There's just way more we could do with Patterson. Because Patterson's still growing. His memes would grow and change much faster than the rest of ours.
What do the rest of y'all do?
Actually, when Tauntaun and Patterson approach, Thorgrim is going to stop eating at that table, move over to where Ricky is sitting, and start eating again.
Okay. I'm assuming that the table he was at is just empty now.
Yes.
I love how you sat there and thought about it for a second. Just like, could Thorgrim eat a table's worth of food? Yes.
Moving on.
Next
Now, the real
question.
question is, how much of it is just beard snacks for later?
Yes.
Thorgrim, roll a performance.
Okay. Hooray for performance, my favorite stat in the whole world. Hang on.
All because I asked about beard snacks.
There are no beard snacks whatsoever. This man has gotten all of the food into his gullet.
Aww. If only I had a way to make him suffer disadvantage.
Why would you do that?
Beard snacks.
Because you must suffer, apparently.
Listen, I don't like hair.
Edel Sarday won't tell him what's wrong.
Listen, I don't like hair in my food.
But it's not hair, it's beard. There's a difference.
Beard hair.
So when you find it, is it hair I see?
I don't know whether to acknowledge that.
I'm acknowledging it.
Hmm.
Acknowledge me.
I have the tribal cheeks.
I'm the tribal chokes.
So Thorgrim, when Tauntaun and Patterson arrive, just bags up and moves to another table. Mostly because the food is gone from that table, but other reasons.
Tauntaun just gonna slam his hands on the table.
What?
As you do, you cause Squibb to jump out of his chair and fall onto the floor.
Oh no!
Sorry, Squid.
You monster!
I didn't mean to startle you like that.
Why did you do that?
To get your guys' attention.
You could just say, hey!
That's not dramatic enough.
Why does that need to be dramatic?
Because this is important. It's much more important than a simple hey.
Tauntaun out with it. What do you want?
There's something wrong with Edel Sarday and she won't tell me what it is.
So?
So, in case you haven't noticed, she's also pushing Hubert away.
So?
That's not normal.
I know.
Then let's do something about it. Oh, fuck.
We don't need to worry about whenever somebody's not feeling well.
That's not what you're supposed. You're a parent. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to do that.
For children.
Everyone's a child to you. And technically, you're supposed to do that for everyone you care about, sort of care about, partially care about.
But if people don't want you to, then you don't press the issue.
Yeah, that's kind of not how I was brought about.
Everybody is brought up in different ways. Everybody has different reactions to...
I didn't say brought up. I said brought about.
Yeah, and?
Slight difference than brought up.
Don't care.
Anyways, point is, how is she gonna get better if she just sits there and mopes? And how are we gonna be able to do anything if she just sits there and mopes and doesn't speak to us anymore?
And how do we know we're not going to just make it worse if we bug her about it repeatedly?
Because it would show that all of us care about her? To some extent.
I'm pretty sure she knows that already.
Does she, though? She seemed very surprised about the fact that I can show care.
That's because you haven't shown it very often.
What do you mean? I show it all the time.
In what way?
And pretty much staying here, helping out everywhere I can.
And
Even if it's me yelled at.
and firing lightning bolts at us?
Okay, first of all, I don't fire lightning bolts at you guys. I fire it at the one that constantly asks me to hit him with a lightning bolt.
What about the time that you nearly fried a couple people with a lightning bolt? Just because you wanted to hit someone that you didn't like?
Weren't those enemies?
Not all of them. Remember, that bolt of yours stretches a long way.
I have no recollection of this event. Me
course you
as
don't.
player and me as Tomba.
Basically, when we were in the underground in Haven, Tauntaun wanted to hit someone with lightning, but Hubert and Thorgrim were in the way. We told you not to do it. You did it anyway.
And you zapped specifically Hubert.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thorgrim
So I
got out
got
the
that out of the way.
Yeah, Thorgrim got out of the way, Hubert not so much. And Adel was like, do that again, and I will kill you, and Tauntaun made a quip.
Yep.
Thorgrim, we were underground at the time. It stretches very far away. It was very close area. It was my only thing I had that could reach them.
Where we were didn't matter. You chose to use something that harmed us in the process.
Okay. And did you fail to hear the part of that was the only thing I had that could reach the enemy?
And did you fail to hear the part that you hurt Hubert?
Be fair, it is Hubert. The man can take a lot.
Yes, but preferably not from his own allies.
I would have helped fix it. Somehow.
You didn't
We
need to
are
fix a
not-
problem that you created. If you didn't create it.
Battles are messy, Thorgrim. You should know this.
Yes, they are, but I don't turn around and hit somebody else that I actually care about with my hammer.
I mean, I think at the time I didn't care for Hubert. Son of a bitch, who's calling me now?
Just
Come on, show me the number. Yes, ma'am.
Number of
I
what?
will be right back.
No,
He's
it's
getting
not
a
phone call.
he's getting a for real phone call.
oh, okay.
This was not in character.
Yeah, I sometimes get confused.
Well, it does break the fourth wall a lot, so makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Context, what's that? In this economy?
Huh?
I don't know.
So, eventually the day begins dwindling out now that Tauntaun has decided to blue screen. As
Could I do something before you fade out into?
I was about to ask what people want to do before they settle down for the night.
Excellent, because I do actually want to do something. Eventually, Thorgrim, in his anger and frustration towards Tauntaun, starts to come around a bit and just says, in his brain, maybe I should check on Adel, just to make sure.
Okay.
And we'll figure out where the hell did Adel go?
You gotta
He's,
find her.
Stop playing hide and seek with me. The point was me joining you in the dining room.
Oh no, if we go into the evening, she probably left when she was done eating.
Okay, well, I'm gonna find you. Yeah.
Adel's just sitting on the steps. Looking outside.
Are you sitting like on the steps?
Yeah.
Thorgrim will plop down next to you. He won't say anything, but he'll just plop down next to you.
Adel glances to Thorgrim, acknowledging he's there, and then just looks at him.
Can I try an insight check? Just to gauge what I can gauge about from Adel's expression and her posture and just general, get a feel how she's feeling.
What should I roll to go against that?
Deception.
Alright, let's see.
Deception.
Let's see if you can see through her stoicism.
I can.
You
Oh,
need to
shit.
explain. You need to explain to Thorgrim, on the outside, how you look like you're feeling.
As stoic as she is she's sitting with her arms folded, but she is very tightly gripping her arms, like you've seen her do whenever she's angry and frustrated. And while she's looking out, she's also kind of looking at the floor.
Thorgrim will reach over and put a hand on Adel's shoulder.
She freezes and then looks at Thorgrim.
I know you don't like talking about your feelings, but if there's anything you want to tell me, I'm right here.
I appreciate the sentiment, Thorgrim. I do. I'll be fine. I just need to, I guess, wrap my head around things.
Just everything?
Many apologies. Had to deal with a senile old man complaining about a white thing in his yard that wasn't actually there.
Ah, okay.
I feel a little backward somehow.
Weird.
I don't know. He saw something over by our rose bush, and I went to go check and see what it was. There was no white thing there. I'm assuming he thought the gas meter was white, because it is a bit of a light gray color.
Must have left.
No, it wasn't like something that could have been an animal. Like, it looked like a satellite dish, according to him.
Weird.
Damn aliens.
I just can't think of what service provider uses white for their satellite dish.
No one?
Yeah. Anyways, what have I missed while I was off dealing with this?
You went blue screen, and now Thorgrim is talking to Adelsarde.
Yeah, he took your words to heart, eventually.
Oh good, so Tauntaun can still get through to Thorgrim.
Eventually.
Well, Adel... Sorry, what was the last thing Thorgrim said?
You know,
Now that I've horribly
I
derailed
want
the
to talk
plot.
about it, blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
How you feeling, blah, 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 blah.
right. No, I just need to wrap my head around what happened yesterday, or the day before yesterday.
Oh, you mean with, Tall, dark, and scaly.
Yes, him.
Oh, and throwing you know who off the you know what.
Among other things, yes.
Yeah, it was a real rough time. I honestly thought that I was going to do something real stupid again.
You?
Yeah, me.
You're planning on staying behind to fight him, weren't you?
At least hold him off so the rest of you can get away.
And would you have if we told you not to do that?
I was struggling real hard with it.
She just frowns. Right.
I know I'm technically under contract with you, and I know technically I'm supposed to do whatever you and Hubert say in regards to that contract, but emotions are weird.
Emotions are complex.
Yeah, and sometimes my emotions, most of the time my emotions override my better judgment, and I do dumb shit. Like the time where I defended Ricky and got my neck broken as a result.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was going to do it anyway, regardless of how I answered, so, I just wanted to take the noble route, because I felt like he was just going to rip my head off anyway. But, what I'm trying to make here, as roundabout as it may be, is, well, we're in a lot of deep shit, so we really gotta just, in times like this, we gotta rely on each other. It's, fighting alone won't solve anything. And you did help me through a very dark time in my life, so it's only right that I return the favor.
I suppose I did.
You definitely did.
I'll just rub your face silently. Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't think it is something that you are able to help me with.
But if you ever think that I can, know that if you do ask me to help, I will accept without question.
That's without a doubt.
Because you're my friend. I want to help.
I consider you my friend as well, Thorgrim.
Good. I didn't want to be alone in that. I feel a little awkward.
It's a word, wasn't it?
Quite, yeah. Mumble. Thorgrim will stand up on the steps and sort of give Ada one more pat on the shoulder. Alright, well, I'm probably going to tuck in soon, so, good night.
Rest well.
You too, or at least try. I know times are hard, but as long as we stick together, everything will be fine. Thorgrim will slowly head off.
Anyone else want to do anything before packing it in for the night?
Nope.
Tauntaun can't really think of anything other than try and check in with Edel Sarday again, but I'm going to assume that Thorgrim did his fatherly magic and it all works out well nicely.
Okay.
My friend puts a lot of trust in fatherly magic, and I don't know why.
It's all he knows. That and being angry.
Yeah. Thorgrim's good at two things. Fatherly magic and angry.
Yeah, that's 2 modes. Oh, and food.
It's literally his biggest class skill. I would like to be angry at my enemy. Yeah, I know. 3-bed bedroom.
I can't remember, was this my room or was this my room?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not an inn. We don't have stuff.
Jubilee, which room do you pick? Oh, rad.
Is anyone else in? I was gonna move. Whew.
Alright, Idle Sarday, how long do you stay there?
She's just waiting until Hubert gets back.
Okay. Eventually, Hubert will walk in.
Where were you?
I went for a walk.
A very long one.
Correct.
Why?
I wish to go for a walk.
Okay.
I was merely enjoying the scenery.
Right. Yeah, well, just get up and head off then.
Any particular reason you are interrogating me over it?
You don't usually just go out for very long walks over an endless expanse of nothing.
I also don't usually have time to do so. However, you said you wished space, so I gave it to you, as you asked.
It almost seems like you're taunting me, Hubert.
Why is that, my lady?
The tone you've been taking towards me.
I am merely speaking my mind.
Really? You're speaking sarcastically and making quips. You almost sound like Tauntaun. Rather than speaking your mind, you're dancing around it.
No. I am simple. I have stated everything. I have yet to make quips. I told you what I did. I went for a walk. Because you did not wish me to be around. So I got as far away from you as possible.
I said I wanted space, not for you to walk around out there when people are looking for you.
Nobody was looking for me when I went for my walk.
Especially
not you.
What, did you want me to go out and look for you?
Of course not. That would have put you in danger.
And yet you put yourself in danger just walking around alone. How would you react if I did that?
To be fair, I would always be around, so you wouldn't really be alone.
And if you weren't? What if, I don't know, I decided to fight Rashi by myself?
Once again, you wouldn't be by yourself. I make sure of it.
Yes, the same way I tried to make sure you don't do the same thing. Only, I couldn't, could I?
You act as if I was planning on fighting. I was merely trying to blast him off the cliff.
The risk was not necessary.
I disagree.
You're free to disagree all you want, and you're free to make your own choices. Well, if you make a choice that is so unfathomably stupid as to fight someone like him by yourself, and not tell me your plan if you just plan on knocking him off the cliff, and having me think that you died and I couldn't revive you. And for what? To protect me? Even though I needed you with me rather than out there?
You're being counterintuitive here, my lady. You say I'm free to make my own choices. and now you are second-guessing them. Quite frankly, if everyone had followed you, you would have had plenty of guard. And, given the situation we were in, I didn't have time to tell you my plan. And if I did have time, Rashi would have known what I was doing, and could have positioned himself to counteract it.
Then we should have fought him together, rather than you fighting him by yourself.
Again, it wasn't planned on being a fight.
Man,
I had no intention of staying any longer than I had to. And, given the fact that if you had stayed, and everyone else had stayed, most likely there would be a nice little pile of corpses on the area that we left.
Alright. You always have a plan to deal with every outcome, because you're able to do everything by yourself, right?
No.
Could have fooled me. That seemed to have been your plan against the puppeteer when we first ran into him.
Ah, yes, when you got banished.
You told me to run and leave you frozen.
And guess what? When you got banished, I fought him off, and I lived. Did
Barely.
I not? But I lived.
Barely.
Answer the question.
No,
With a
you're
yes.
you're not listening to me. You barely beat the puppeteer. You survived. Yes.
At this, you actually see Hubert lean in close. And I survived. It doesn't matter if it's by the skin of my teeth or by the leagues of an ocean. I survived. I won. For you. Regardless of how close it was, I did win.
But I'm not.
And I am tired of you second-guessing my abilities.
I'm not asking you to survive for me by the skin of your. Shut up. I'm not asking you to survive for me by the skin of your teeth. I'm not asking you to risk your life for me at every opportunity. We could have fought Rashi together. We could have fought the puppeteer together. You died for me who knows how many times, and I don't want that. But every time I tell you not to do it, you don't listen to me. Instead, you listen to the orders of your mother and my mother instead of listening to me.
Not been in contact with my mother since my birth.
That's...
She has not given me any orders. And the last order your mother gave me was telling me I was your retainer.
She, pauses. What?
She told me that my life was bound to yours, and that I needed to stay with you. Aside from that, your mother has not given me any other orders.
So you weren't doing that at my mother's orders?
No.
Then why?
It's almost as if I care for you, my lady. But that wouldn't make sense, would it? Despite the fact that I've served you for decades, personally. Done everything you've asked of me. Gone out of my way to ensure proper procedures. Fight my natural instincts, and try to fight non-lethally. Simply because you ask me to. It's almost as if I enjoy being around you. And I enjoy making sure that you are safe. Because if you had stayed and fought Rashi, and he realized that you were the one giving orders, he would have killed you and thrown our entire party into disarray. The fact of the matter is, my lady, given the circumstances, and given everyone involved, I had the highest likelihood of surviving a one-on-one altercation with Rashi. But you don't care about that. You only care about outcomes that have not come yet. Yes, I have died for you. I have died twice for you. And I am willing to die for you as many times as I need. But the fact of the matter remains that I didn't die fighting Rashi. I didn't die the first time that I had my hand at the puppeteer. But you don't care about those, because the way I see it, I've had 2 almost deaths at the hands of them. And I've had 2 deaths, one at the hand of one of them, and at the hand of a construct that you destroyed. If you are going to focus on the bad, you need to focus on the good as well. Otherwise, you become a shell and you sit on a dirty flight of stairs for how many hours?
I don't know. She rubs her face slowly and, like, just walks off, like she's thinking. But then she'll go back. Okay. I get it. I'm sorry.
I'm glad to hear it. Now then, is there anything else I can do for you, my lady?
No. Nothing comes to mind right now.
Then you should go to sleep. You're tired.
Yes. I'll go do that.
Good.
And she going headlong to do just that.
And who would have thought Hubert was the optimist?
Everyone roll D100s.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Get
god.
Get tired of y'all shit.
79, 78, 17. So far, we damn it, Jubilee. Can't keep with the 7 theme.
Alright, Adelstar Day. You wake up first.
I still love how we get so close to ties on D100s.
Ada will freshen herself up, give Zuriel his daily dose of whatever I call it, I forget. Life die. And we'll head out. Hit die, yes. And we'll head out. And look around.
Oh, life die. Die of life.
Is Hubert still there?
As you enter, you see him reading a book while stirring a cup of coffee.
Did you even get any sleep?
Of course.
Did you go into our room? I didn't hear you.
Do you ever hear me whenever I intend on not making a sound?
Ah, of course. I forgot. So... I'm still trying to come to terms with the fact that this whole time you weren't following orders. It's...
You know what they say about assumptions, my lady.
It makes an ass out of you and me, yes, I know. You've told me that many times.
And
Maybe
yet
that's
you
why you've been telling me that this whole time.
And yet you still go around making assumptions.
I make calculated perceptions. They usually turn out okay.
In any case, what is the plan for the day?
Well, if Tempest was able to get the weapon out of Zorblu's body, we will decide what to do with him. Honestly, it all should go to what Zorblu wants to do. If he decides to part ways with us, which honestly he will, or most likely will, I'm not sure, then we'll part ways. If he sticks around, he sticks around. He will go back to the place where he first saw the people with the sect of the Mother of Flame. If they're not there, I'll ask them to meet up with us again, assuming, of course, that the Mother of Flame allows them to. Then we will try and take out the Goblin Nest, after which we will make our way over to the tree and see what we can do from there.
You're giving the dragon too much credit. I highly doubt he'd be able to fix the problem in such a quick manner.
If he doesn't, and he thinks he can't do it, then there is always the friend Thorgrim made. Tauntaun seems to believe he can do something.
Speaking of Thorgrim, he awakes.
Thorgrim will stretch, yawn, grab a little smasher, channel some of his ki into it, and give it a couple swings before wandering out the room and joining ZS's music group. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Thorgrim.
Hey. So, what are we doing?
She re-explains the potential plan.
Right. Great, goblin fights. Fun.
Odd to see you running from a fight.
I'm not running, I just don't enjoy zombie goblins.
Well,
You
we
know.
will hopefully have help.
Still uneasy around the undead. That sort of thing.
Alright.
There's a lot of them.
Well, on the plus side, we will have potentially hyper-religious people helping us deal with them.
Oh, right, the flame guys.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be cool.
we just need to make sure Squib is nowhere near them.
Yeah, they don't seem to like goblins very much. Or undead, so Patterson's a no.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Tauntaun,
Patterson.
around this time is when you wake up.
Tauntaun's just gonna stretch out and then roll over. And then attempt to sleep again.
Okay. In that case, Jubilee, you wake up.
Tauntaun, it's too early for the energy out there.
Anywho, Jubilee will get up and look for her little hype man.
You find him, and he's currently doing push-ups, and once again gives you a heartfelt speech before flopping onto his nose. You get a D10 inspiration for the day.
Okay. Do some stretches before coming out for breakfast.
Hello, Jubilee.
It'll start day. How are you feeling today?
Doing fine, thank you.
Morning, Jube.
Morning. So, what's the plan for today?
Gonna go goblin smashing, apparently.
Yes, with the people that seem to have a suspicion about you.
We gotta kill.
Yeah. Are we sure that's a good idea?
It's the only idea I have.
Yeah, there's not much else to go on.
Well,
Alright.
there is another idea, but I'm not sure how that one will go. And I have a feeling that's one will go a bit worse than siding with the Lovers of Flame.
What is the other one?
Going and having a chat with the puppeteer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
let's not do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have the original goal that I set out to do, but that still won't stop me from whacking him over the head if he tries anything funny.
That and the puppeteer is a nihilistic person that doesn't care if the entire realm is destroyed as long as he potentially dies. So trusting him is stupid.
I mean, not only that, that is his plan, so...
Yes. In fact, he'd probably want you to hit him in case it actually killed him. So,
I would love to if it actually did anything.
You know, I'm starting to notice a lot of parallels between Tauntaun and Puppeteer. We're both suicidal.
I really... Can we just go? I'm getting a little antsy.
not just yet. We're waiting for a certain quip-throwing, friendly neighborhood shapeshifter to get out of bed.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Friendly neighborhood shit.
Hey, Tauntaun, wake up!
Sorry, I'm losing my shit right now.
I think you're going to have to go to their room directly to wake him up.
Fine. Bang on the door.
Phrasing. How loud is his banging? Question mark.
Oh, like, boom, 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 heavy, almost punching the door.
My shit. Tauntaun's just gonna groan and say 5 more minutes.
Louder banging on the door.
5 more minutes.
Is this door locked?
Probably not.
No. He did not say he locked it, so.
I'm gonna open the door and I'm gonna toss him out of bed.
Yeet.
Well, bro.
Like, not like pick him up over his head and throw him, but like just sort of unceremoniously dump him out of bed.
Yeah, that's still a what well.
Yeah, you're going to see something.
Yeah. Remember that time when Tauntaun didn't have time to change back into Tauntaun?
No. I don't think
mean-
that ever happened.
And the inn was on fire?
Oh, right.
I don't
that.
think Thorgrim actually saw that though.
That's even more uh-oh then.
Yeah.
You're in your cocoon, you'll be fine. Unless you want to be seen.
He literally just said he's dumping me out of the bed unceremoniously. I don't think you can make a burrito that well as
The
something
DM
that doesn't have cocoon making powers.
The DM says it, unless you don't want it, so.
Flip a coin!
Just remember, the DM gave you an out and you didn't take it.
Yeah, but coin flipping. It's the best way to make decisions. Let's see, we're gonna put heads unseen, tails unnut. Flippy, 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 flippy. Ah, fuck, that's heads.
Oh,
Okay, so what do I see?
Well, you notice how there's that bigger body on his token?
Which
The
looks
one with
like?
the tongue.
Describe it to me, please.
It's actually on his token, the Eldritch being he usually is.
There you go.
Ah, bigger.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, like that.
That
that,
big,
okay.
terrifying thing that is at the giant end.
I thought that was just Tauntaun normally.
Nope.
That's him outside of
Tauntaun's the
normal
suave,
form.
shorter looking one.
Okay.
That's what we call Tauntaun. Although, no, technically he's seen the other form before. It introduced itself as Harrington.
Yeah, you just don't know it as Tauntaun.
Thorgrim kind of stares confused for a moment.
I say
Kicks at it lightly.
Wait, what does he do?
Kicks at it lightly.
I said 5 more minutes, my dude.
It's just.
Why is
Why
it so
don't you
cold?
get up? Come on. Gotta go
Hello.
find.
Hi, Patterson.
Hello.
Not so quickly.
Quickly, Patterson says and begins poking Tauntaun with all 4 hands.
Damn it, Patterson, fire him up.
Did he learn another word?
Quickly.
Oh no.
Tauntaun's then just gonna look at his hand and just be like, Thorgrim, you saw nothing.
I don't know what I'm seeing right now.
A
Patterson.
whole lot of nothing.
Uh,
I will make Patterson start haunting your dreams if you ever speak a word of this.
it's too late for that.
You tell no one.
I'm gonna just go back to group now.
Tauntaun's then going to turn back into Tauntaun and just be like, okay, we're gonna have to deal with that later.
You took a while.
He slow to wake up.
Tauntaun's then going to kick the door the rest of the way open and just say, alright, bitches, what are we doing?
Why don't you come up here and I will explain the plan?
I'm working on it.
Work faster.
I'm wearing heels, woman.
That's
Heels
what's
that are
your
as big
personal
as your
choice.
foot. Stairs and heels don't really go well.
If you can't handle it, then don't mention it. So, and she will explain the plan once again, which is basically meet up with fire people, burn goblins.
Sounds about normal.
Straight to the point.
Alright, she'll stand. Let's go see how Tempest got along with Zorblue.
I would imagine about as well as you would expect, considering one is the king of a nation or country, and the other is a dragon who doesn't
Dragon?
know.
Well, he wasn't even the king of a nation or a country, it's more a village.
Yeah, he was king of a people.
Can you be the king of a small village?
Yes.
You decree yourself as king, of course.
Oh, so just somebody just said they were a king one day and people started following him?
I mean,
That's how
I'm
it
king of
usually
me.
goes.
Know that? Huh, weird.
Edel will look over to see how Tempest is, well, what Tempest is doing. Hello?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I think everything cut out for me.
Oh,
Oof.
trying to see if Tempest is done with Zorblue?
Tempest is working, and you see Zorblue carrying things around, but you can't tell what they're working on.
Tempest?
Hmm.
How did it go?
You act as if this would be something that would be easily rectified.
I figured it would be for someone of your abilities.
Unfortunately, you forget yourself. This is a very well done scene. Almost as if a god crafted it. And while, yes, I can, of course, fix the problem, it will take a moment.
wouldn't be surprised if a
what
god.
is a moment in your eyes as opposed to us?
Do not worry.
Okay.
Be
Alright.
done what he said is done.
I suppose we'll come back in a while and check on the progress. Zorblue will be leaving you here, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I will then turn and head along.
So there, we fall under a count of 8.
Oh, right, there is one more thing.
Or
That ceiling, it was made by a god. The god of dragons, I think.
Interesting.
I was gonna go put him right here.
Anywho, she'll head along. And to the entrance.
To the entways.
Tauntaun shall follow. I don't think the dragon's gonna let me buy a spell off of him.
You could ask.
Would you like to buy a spell?
That's the thing. He
Like-
seems prideful and arrogant for that.
So it's like buying a vowel.
I would like to buy 1 5th level spell called Telepathic Bond.
Alright, let's see if we can get going then. Jubilee, Tauntaun, please procure transport.
I'll
And
see if my luck holds true today.
oh, they do that. She's gonna summon Agam.
Is this usable? Did you feed your thing?
What thing? Zuriel? Yeah.
Will a boar be big enough for this?
No, or is a medium?
Alright, I'll try again.
Hello, Agam.
Oh, a giant badger.
Is that gonna be big enough?
I think those are also medium.
I'm fairly certain giant badgers are also medium.
Bruh.
Yeah,
Giant.
they're called giant because they're bigger than normal. Although I got a stat block for it here.
Although we
Oh,
might want
they
to
are.
give this
They are in fact medium beasts, so.
However,
give this one some space.
I did find a giant honey badger, which is a large beast. That in and of itself sounds terrifying because honey badgers are smarter than normal badgers. And much more vicious.
So,
Yeah, no, I
what
thought
did
that.
you pull with us? 2.
A rat.
A rat.
A giant
Right.
rat, but a rat. Well, I didn't pull well today.
So, no Jubilee animals?
Nope. None that can pull the carrot.
Non-useful.
I guess we'll have to leave that to Hubert with the summoning then.
Of course.
Sorry, I tried.
No worries.
Also,
think
you
about
might want to
random
avoid
items.
that. Might avoid that thing. Points at giant badger.
And,
Nah, he's a total, absolute, adorable sweetheart.
why don't you go pet it then? Anywho, Agam.
Ah,
Ale points up the stairs at the dragon.
ah.
I told you we were in the fortress of the dragon.
And?
Well, that aside, how are the projects we asked you to work on?
I'm working on it.
The sword is still not restored?
Listen, you didn't exactly give me enough time to fix everything.
Oh. When do you think everything will be finished?
I don't know. Sometime between now and then. You can't rush blacksmithing.
Right. Well, I'll leave you to it. Leave you back to work then if you don't have anything to show at the minute.
Aye.
Alright. I shall then send him away. You'd think he would be more surprised that's a mythical creature just standing there.
I really don't think he cares.
What do you mean? He's also a mythical creature.
I guess.
Think a mythical creature's gonna care about being in the presence of another mythical creature?
Depends on the mythical creatures.
And it depends on if they've ever seen each other before.
Maybe he has seen a dragon. I think elementals live to a long age.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
Fairly certain they're usually immortal.
Oh, didn't know that.
I mean, they're kind of just made out of a substance and not made of flesh and bone. They're not bone mechs with meat armor. They're just kind of a thing.
Anyway, goblin bashing time.
Yeah. Just kind of waiting on finding out if we have a ride.
Gabriel's got that covered.
Okay, Discord, stop screwing up on me, okay?
No.
Oh no.
Alright. What'd I miss?
You
Oh.
summon thing.
Okay, yeah, Hubert eventually does in fact summon the giant spider.
I
Yay.
will summon the cart!
Alright. Let's head back to where we met the people with fire.
Heading down the keyboard loaded shop.
As you all travel, nothing eventful occurs.
What's up?
But the sky is dark and cloudy, so there is a chance that it may begin to rain.
There's a chance what now?
That it might
Rain.
rain.
Oh, nice. I like the rain.
Well, I mean, rain makes corn makes whiskey.
Fire people. Rain.
Yeah,
Bad.
they'll be fine.
I mean, you'd be surprised how well a fire can still go while it's raining. All it needs is fuel. Sure, it'll pop a lot more, but
So, are
well, it doesn't
the
pop us.
folks of the sect still here?
You do not see them.
Yeah, we'll head out of the carriage and go towards the fire while looking around. Yes, dragging for others to follow. Except for Patterson and Squib. Actually, no, before she goes, she's gonna put her cloak on Squib's head again and then go back out and look around.
You do not see anybody around, and the fire is still going. However, it does not look like it is being tended to anymore.
Let's see if I can investigate and see where they went off to.
That would be a survival, not an investigate.
Fair enough. Nope.
I will also try survival.
Unfortunately, neither of you can really tell which direction they went, as it seems that they have done a very good job of covering their tracks.
Adel and Thorgrim pointing in different directions. They went that way!
Can Tauntaun give it a try with help from Patterson?
Sure.
I didn't do much better.
Unfortunately, Tauntaun, you get just a little bit distracted and stop focusing on the task at hand.
What am I distracted by?
A butterfly.
You think you see a butterfly-sized goose.
Patterson, go back inside the carriage, please.
Hello.
Does he go back in the carriage?
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, I would assume he has his hobo makeup on.
Alright. She is then going to cast Sending to Bjorn. Not Bjorn. What is his name? How do you pronounce this? Bjorn? Boren. And it says, I am where we first met. come if you want to come if you want. Or, sorry, come if you can.
As you are.
I mean, either way, it's a freezing moment.
How long do we intend on waiting around here, my lady?
Let's wait a day. Shouldn't take too long. Here, Tauntaun, can you put up your anti-divination?
Yeah, sure. Not exactly a cheap spell, you know.
Your points being?
My point being, I can only cast such things so many times a day.
I still fail to see the pertinent point here.
It's a 4th level spell.
So what?
So it's also the level of banishment.
Meaning what?
Chicken lion problem? Did you forget we have those?
Ah, yes, the chicken lion, who works for the person that gave us the ability to seal Rashi in the first place.
I wouldn't put it past him to still be petty.
I suppose so. I mean, it's not like we beat him twice already or anything. Meaning we don't necessarily need a banishment spell, compared to somebody figuring out where Ricky is and potentially coming to us, and we have yet to beat them a single time.
I mean, that'd give us like a minute pair a trap for when he comes back out.
Sorry, can you say that again?
It would give us a minute to pair a trap to get a fuck ton of damage out on him. Because even on things that are native to a place, they'll just come back after a minute.
So what's your big plan to do with Zordak to do that?
Depends how many explosives.
And if that number is 0?
Well, then the plan B is you have everyone prepared to just beat the shit out of him, and me prepared to banish him again. Rinse, repeat.
You can banish
About
Zordak.
5 times. I mean, yeah, I do it a total of 5 times in a day.
I thought you could only banish people when they're not in their home plane.
No, if they're on their home plane, it just sends them to a harmless area where they're kind of just stuck.
Well,
But then when the spell ends, they come back. Unlike if it's not from this plane, or we aren't on their home plane, second that spell ends, they're stuck there again.
I'm sure Zardak has a way to counter that anyway, considering that he has sent creatures after us that can travel through planes. Anyway, just put up the anti-defamation square so we don't need to potentially deal with Zardak.
Kind of a bold assumption that we wouldn't have to deal with it. Anyways, we don't exactly travel in this square.
That's the same point I made about Rashi. You seemed pretty adamant it would work then.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's because we stopped moving. And I can make it so he can't see through it.
So do it now then.
Dude, kind of already casted it.
Alright.
Take a fucking minute.
He'll then take a seat on the rock and just start reading.
That's usual size is 100.
So, what's everyone doing for their downtime?
Well, I mean, I have a scroll I wanted to finish. I don't remember what scroll it was, but I can notes. And not very extensive notes. Oh, I was working on a private sanctum scroll. Why was I working on a private sanctum scroll?
I don't know.
Actually, I'm gonna
But apparently that's what I was doing.
continue working on my scroll too.
Okay.
There are arcana checks, right?
Yep.
Roll a 7.
Let's see what I roll. Nice.
Anton, as you begin working, unfortunately your ADD kicks in and you begin thinking about other things, and as you're scribbling on your scroll, You begin scribbling your random ideas as well onto it.
Oh no. I'm very curious how this scroll is going to turn out now. I'm not only writing ink.
Adel Sarday, eventually, after a few hours of work, you will in fact finish the scroll.
Nice. Oh yeah, I gotta put this down somewhere. So now I have like 3 scrolls. Ugh. Firebolts, what is it again? Yes, it's healing word. That's a lot more useful.
Thorgrim's gonna go to this rock here. And he's going to sit on it, and he's going to put the baby's first blacksmithing book on his lap, and he's going to try and meditate with the book in his lap.
Okay. Roll a wisdom check.
Yeah.
All of you watch as Thorgrim opens the book and then begins meditating, and then immediately you see his head slump forward, and he begins snoring and muttering in his sleep. And if you pay attention, the muttering he is giving is pointers on how to actually blacksmith. That's funny.
Remember, fire gotta be really, really, really hot.
It'll looks over at Thorgrim and then looks to Hubert. Should we wake him up?
I think he's happy.
Right.
He is clearly reminiscing.
I suppose he's having fun.
I'm imagining that as soon as Adel says that, Thorgrim falls off the rock.
He's fine.
If you say so.
Hubert will then sit down and pull out a small black book, which he begins writing in.
You're journaling in?
Correct.
Still not going to let me read it?
Correct.
One day you'll let me read it.
Only if you pry it out of my hands.
Maybe I will, when you're not expecting it.
You will try,
Bold assumption.
but an accurate one.
We will see.
And when we do, you'll find I am correct.
People is just watching this the entire time.
Question
This is
is,
drow mating rituals.
if I get it, will you try and take it back?
That remains to be seen now, doesn't it?
Here.
And here we see the male drow enticing the female drow.
Bruh.
Fascinating.
Alright.
I'm gonna poke him with a stick.
You have... Hubert, you will have to agree. If I can get that book off you, you have to let me read it.
He doesn't have. Wait a minute.
As you say this, Hubert just replies, if.
Mm-hmm. That's not a no.
I never said no. I merely said if.
She smiles smugly. Duly noted. The challenge has been set. She's not gonna try now though, because she knows that's not gonna go well.
As if on cue, Thorgrim mutters very loudly in his sleep, "And that's how I met your mother."
Oh, Thorgrim.
It is a disturbing story to tell your children.
I'm sure it was wholesome.
Given Thorgrim's background, I would assume that she was a medic at the Colosseum he performed at.
My ribs were poking out of my legs were poking out of my torso, my arms were coming out of my ass. That's how I met your mother.
It was a good day.
Well, Hubert, you know what they say about assuming.
How did you put it? A calculated observation.
Look how sassy they are now.
It's adorable.
Elle just goes, huh. And then she sits and goes back to reading.
You dare use my spell against me, Potter?
How dare you use my... How dare you use my words against me after I used your words against you?
Hubert will eventually close the small black book and put it away.
Elle's then gonna glance at the fire.
Looks like a fire.
She'll then look up. Is it starting to rain or getting close?
It's currently there's just dark clouds overhead. You can't tell how close the rain is if it's even close.
I don't know why, but something feels a bit weird with the clouds, and I don't know why. I don't even know why. Yeah, I don't even know what I'd have to roll if anything's up with them.
Nature.
Sure, why not?
Nah, they're just totally normal clouds. That's what Tauntaun's thinking.
I mean, the last time she looked up, she saw an eye in the moon, so...
I mean, that's just your fault for getting high with, Tauntaun.
You just see they're basically normal rain clouds. There's nothing spectacular about them.
Yeah, she'll go back to reading then.
Does anybody have any ideas of entertainment?
I mean, I can put a small performance on to practice if you guys want to watch.
That'd be lovely.
Okay. I'll get my flaccid piano!
Sure, why not?
It's piano time. Oh, why do we have fight music?
What do you mean? This ain't fun music.
It sounds like fight music.
This is the Hyrule Fields Twilight Princess edition, you uncultured swine.
No, like, it sounds like music.
This is a travel theme.
Damn.
Dear Lord.
This does not feel like
I think I'm seducing the earth.
not traveling.
You're seducing the what now?
Seducing the earth, is what he
That was a
said.
joke.
Oh my god. You can't do that. Lunaris is gonna be pissed.
Bitch, watch me.
Hey, this is a completely different planet. Lunaris has no dibs on this place.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You
we don't
hold
know.
no power here.
We don't know if the gods in this realm are represented by.
Well, maybe I'm getting something's attention that'll get us back home. Who knows?
That'd be something.
No, you're not fucking me. Go back from whence you came.
Be gone, fuck!
That's how you cast banish.
when Zeri said humming.
So
I technically wasn't humming, I was just going, ooh. Along with whatever
it just sounded horrid.
I never said I was doing good ooze, I was just doing ooze.
I think I've had bowel movements that sounded better.
Mother of mercy.
So, a few more hours pass. And no, that's not good.
What? Not
Thorgrim,
good for us, or like I should be worried about you or something?
Oregon BRB.
Thorgrim BRB'd as I was about to explain what was going on.
Bruh, that's the second time. Poor Thorgrim.
So we're gonna wait a minute before we continue.
Yeah, I need to get a drink too.
A few moments later.
It's amazing how whenever I'm in character, I can resist my natural retorts to things. Because since I was Hubert, I couldn't respond how I wanted to respond whenever Jubilee asked if Hubert was coming on to her.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you
Because
have to respond?
it isn't anything that Hubert would have said, but the reply would have been, not right now, but maybe tonight.
Oh damn.
Sorry, I like living. Please don't do that. Otherwise, Il Sarde will actually kill me.
Oh yeah, the evil side, it'll definitely would have done something.
Right. I need everyone to roll a perception.
Alright.
By the way, I heard you saying my name as I was leaving to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Did you want something?
No, I was saying that you were leaving, so I had to hold off on what was happening until you got back.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Fuck.
I'm having a very
I
active
wasted a
bladder
good
today.
roll.
Don't worry, I have a very active bladder too.
Yeah, it sucks.
Nah.
Uh,
I'm done.
I hope it doesn't suck. It's supposed to do the opposite.
yeah, no.
Yes, perception.
Perceive!
Alright. Thorgrim, you are awoken from your slumber as you, Jubilee, and Tauntaun all begin feeling the ground shake a little bit before cease shaking, and then it shakes a bit again.
Thorgrim immediately leaps from his prone position to a front handspring, lands on the ground, grabs the book, draws his hammer, and goes, "What the fuck was that?"
What was what?
There was a rumbling.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Hubert needs to roll a perception as well. It felt like a tremor.
Uh-oh.
Like footsteps or like an earthquake or what?
Not sure. If it were footsteps, it would be something big.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
If it was a tremor, that might mean something happened underground.
Or maybe an explosion.
As you are all talking, you see a robed figure running down the road toward you all, and he seems to be running in a panic.
Wait, that's a member of the cult. Wait, explosion?
Doesn't look like things are good for him.
Oh
I
boy,
say-
I think I know who he ran into.
I didn't say explosion, I said tremor.
No,
I
Thorgrim
said explosion. Yeah.
Stop putting squares.
Who's putting
That's right.
squares?
All these squares
Right,
make a circle.
That's my private sanctum square.
No, you're putting miniature squares everywhere.
Ah! Oh! I left that on. Okay.
It'll,
I thought I was on normal cursing.
it'll-
And as you are watching the cultist, you all hear as a large mass of something comes down and slams directly onto him.
Oh dear.
What the fuck?
Oh.
So, is that mass still there?
Yes, and it's moving.
What does it
What
look like?
is the math
It
exam?
looks like those.
What the heck is that?
As slowly you all see, corpses rising from the impact zone.
So, like,
Someone
did
throw
I-
a ball of corpses.
Yeah, was it like a catapult of corpses or something?
That just seems excessive.
And
What the
then
fuck?
you feel the ground. You feel the ground tremor again,
Everyone move!
and again,
Move! Run!
in
Like-
a rhythmic way.
In the car.
Like I said, big creature, run.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Everybody hide. You, especially the younglings.
Tonton's gonna stay inside of this 100-foot cube.
Okay. Can the 100-foot cube be seen in?
No, it cannot. It also blocks dark vision.
Wait, I thought... Oh, shit. That's what you meant by can't see in it. Okay.
Okay, then
Oh
that.
no,
yeah,
also
That's the
you
thing.
can- like you can't see past the barrier. Now, if this thing is shorter than 100 feet, it'll be able to see in.
What?
But if it's making tremors and it's still not on the map, I'm assuming it's bigger than.
Ah!
What?
Down.
Oh my god!
That's a war machine.
What the f...
As all of you cowering within the sanctum eventually see a giant slowly clambering along the road with what you would assume to be its eye locked on the cultist.
Oh, okay.
Problem.
If we wanted that man, let's just leave him alone.
And
Good idea.
it slowly reaches down with a hand and grips around the zombies and the cultists, and you all hear the ground crumble as it pulls up a chunk of earth, and with a loud squelching sound, you see it push the zombies
Ugh.
as well as the cultist's body into its abdomen.
Ugh.
Ricky? Squib? What is that thing?
Squib just says and does a hand over his throat telling you to shut up.
Okay, shut up. I'm shutting up, I am.
Now I have to do a few rolls for this thing.
Oh god.
Alright.
This is gonna be our nemesis.
And after having captured its prey, it will slowly turn around and boom, 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 and eventually meanders away.
Also, by the way, just for future reference, when Sanctum's up, sound can't pass through either. As in, it can't pass out.
Oh, it's like my hut, except it doesn't last as long.
What do you mean? I last 24 hours, and I can leave it.
I don't need my hut anymore, do I?
I mean, your hut blends in a little bit better than a... I mean, I suppose I could make it smaller, but having a big old 100-foot cube just is...
Oh yeah,
cool.
I could change the color of mine too, so it just blends in too.
Yeah, yours can blend in. Mine can't. Mine's just a big old foggy dark spot.
So... Squib, Ricky, what was that?
That's one of the Titans.
One
of the
of the
Whoozy What's now?
Titans?
Yes.
What? Okay, first of all, what is a Titan? And one of them?
How
I-
many are there?
Riki will chime in and go, "There's 5 in total, and they're believed to be fragments of the gods."
Wait a second. Fragments of the god. Oh no.
It's either fragments of the gods or progenitors of the gods, but nobody really knows.
Huh. So, are all 5 different?
Mm-hmm.
Does,
That one is known as the Grave Titan.
does
I'm assuming
what?
that means that it is possibly linked to death?
Well, undeath, but yes.
Well, I mean, you can't get undeath without something being dead.
So that's one
Usually.
thing. But
Are you gonna tell him otherwise?
the other is, does one of them look like a Hydra by any chance?
No?
Alright, well, there's that. We might want to deal with that thing then.
Why?
That thing is meant to be linked to the gods in some way, right? According to legend.
Either fragments of them or progenitors, yes, but that would mean if it's the progenitor route, they might just sticking to a routine. Actually, no, if they're progenitors, then it's a lot more terrifying, but if they're fragments, then it's probably just some routine thing they have to do.
If that's the
Keep away
case,
and out of their routine, and you should be fine.
while I doubt this is possible, or even wise, if we manage to get rid of it, or land a killing blow on it, we might get something. Similar to what abilities Rashi gained from killing the goddess of life. If we take down the fragment of a god,
I think we should put a pin in this.
I'm not
Don't
saying we
get me
do it
wrong.
now, of course, but if we run into it again and we have the ability to, maybe we should give it a try.
Yeah, I'd recommend we wait until we have much more reliable form of transportation. That way, in case shit goes bad, we can run.
Well, it can fire projectiles, so hopefully whatever this mode of transportation is good at dodging.
Good question. I'd have to look into some people to see if we can't get better rides.
Oh, hold on, actually.
I'm wishing I had taken that visit to Solaria now.
Yeah, well then, get off the rock. Well, since the movement of transport is here, actually, she's gonna head to the door. Tanta, I'm going to need that card of yours.
You... To do...
Oh, I thought you were saying you. To speak with Devilish Dan.
Oh! Oh yeah, that's easy. Actually, it would be nice to see the map. Who wants to go see Devilish Dad? Contan's going to pull out his card.
One of us should stay out here in case the sect arrive.
Well, I mean,
I'll
the
stay
bigger issue is that usually leaving his place throws us somewhere else entirely.
Really?
Yeah, you never leave the same way you entered.
Then
Usually.
we probably shouldn't go in then. Who knows where we'd end up if we do it out here.
I mean, usually it's just through another door.
I guess we could
I haven't been
potentially
thrown
end up...
into a bad place yet.
Alright, then let's try it.
So who all's going?
I'll stay.
Okay. Addison, you stay with her.
Patterson will give you a thumbs up from the cart.
You know, one of these days, I'm highly expecting him to just give a fucking salute and a thumbs up.
I mean, he has
Just-
4
yeah.
arms.
Yeah, he could just do like a fucking anime eye pose, fucking salute, a thumbs up, and a rock and roll sign.
Do you wish me to stay here as well, my lady?
Yes, just in case anything needs to be protected.
He nods.
Should I stay with Hubert then?
You can do
Well, I'm
as you
staying
wish.
with Hubert, so you can go if you want.
I'm actually going to come with. I haven't seen Dan or any of his suspiciously named people in a while.
I'm sure Jubilee and myself will be fine.
And Patterson, don't forget Patterson.
Don't jinx
Not.
it now.
And Riki and Squib.
And Mark.
If not, is there a way for you to let us know?
Probably not. I think we actually enter a different dimension when we go there.
Shit.
It'll be fine. They have most of the party with them. We should be worrying about us and where we'll end up.
We'll deal with things as things come along.
Because there is still probably a minuscule chance that we end up in a bandit leader's bathroom.
Maybe we should save this until later.
I said minuscule chance. Odds are like 1 to a million.
Go ahead
Okay.
and go.
Might be more zeros.
Don't
Alright.
let Tauntaun talk you out of it.
Tauntaun's already sticking the thing in the door and opening it.
Alright. It'll sigh, but head inside.
Okay.
Doing the usual.
As soon as they leave, Jubilee just turns to Hubert. So when's the wedding?
Hubert just
Honestly, when I saw Edelsarday and Hubert move to the same-ish area, I was like, nah, that can't be why she wants it.
Jubilee, as you say this, Hubert looks to you and goes, "I'm not sure. You haven't proposed to me yet."
Oh,
And Jubilee,
Bruh.
you notice that the door hasn't shut yet. So there's a high likelihood Edelsarday heard this.
Uh-oh.
The rest of you, on the other hand, enter the store, and you see a very familiar face goes, "Hello, hello, Devilish D! Pleasure to meet you. Oh, and there's a newcomer!
I thought your name was Dan.
What do you mean?
No, we've seen Dan, we've seen Damien, now it's D.
Dan and Damien, and now it's just D.
I'm assuming it's D-E-E?
It's D-I-I.
Okay, so I was on by a vowel.
Well, hello, Devilish D.
Pleasure to meet you.
So,
Yeah, I'm assuming they're just a species at this point.
what exactly do you sell here?
I sell a little bit of everything. You just have to tell me what you want.
Alright, I would like to know the locations of certain objects.
Well, that would require you to have a locate item or object. It's one of those two. I can't remember.
I think it's actually the name of the spell is locate object?
Object.
That's what he's referring to.
Alright. Can I have 3 scroll... Alright, so I'm going to need 3 scrolls for that.
Now, before we go any further, you understand that this is going to be pretty costly.
How costly?
Well, considering the fact locate object is a 2nd level spell, we'll have to work out the price after all things have been factored in, yes?
Okay.
Wonderful! Daryl! He shouts up into the black abyss above, and eventually you see a slot come down with 3 scrolls on top of it. He picks them up, sets them on his table, and the slot slides back into the black abyss. Anything else I can get you?
I don't know why Edelsarday is buying 3 scrolls of this when she has a wizard.
is there anything you got that will help me increase my ability to hit things? Like, strength and stuff.
Well, I believe the last time you were here, you asked me the same thing. I'll have to have Daryl go about looking for it.
He didn't ask you, he asked Dan. Was it Damien or one of the other ones?
Technically speaking, it was the merchant friend who rented my space for the time being.
Yeah, he asked that one.
Yeah, how do you know that?
Well, he rented my space. He told me all of the deals he made.
How many twins do you have?
What do you mean?
I think we're past twins, my dude. At this
I
point, it's a family.
have no idea to what you all are talking about.
Well, we met a Dan, we met a Damien, now you're D. Are you all related?
I have no idea what you mean.
All right, look, let's just leave that conversation there. Do you have such item?
Thorgrim's eyes are slowly crossing.
Possibly. But like I said, I have to get Daryl to go looking around. And while he does that, we can continue talking.
At least his name doesn't change. Hi, Daryl.
Oh, he sounds positive. Adorable. Anyways, I was wondering if you had spells for telepathic bonds and or permanence.
None you can afford.
Is that about the telepathic bond spell or the permanent?
Both.
Really?
Permanent.
Bro, bitch.
Do you realize how powerful permanency is?
But you said both. I get how powerful permanency is. I gathered that I probably couldn't afford that one. But telepathic bond?
Yes.
The hour-long spell?
Yes.
How expensive is that for me to not be able to afford it?
Well, you see, I've come to find out that a lot of people pay a lot of money in order to have a telepathic bond.
And just die.
I mean, I already have a diet version of that.
Then what do you need a new one for?
Because it's a pain in
Burns
the ass.
all the calories.
And I'm farther away than my diet version allows. Literally, it's just Tauntaun being lazy. And not wanting to walk closer to people sometimes.
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Telepathic bond is a pretty powerful spell.
Okay, but what's the price range on it?
No! A lot.
You got numbers?
No, of course not. Remember, I accept all sorts of things as payment.
Well, we'll start with the cash amount and work from there.
The cash amount will be somewhere in the thousands of gold.
Yeah, that is a bit much for me.
Speaking of payments, he turns to Adelsorday. What are you willing to trade for the scroll?
Apparently you accept abilities?
He
In a sense.
doesn't work with the traditional form of coin.
In a sense, yes.
Well, for these, how much of my ability would I have to give?
Depends on what abilities you're offering. And how useful they are to you. And you see, as he says that, he begins tapping his fingertips together.
Adel rest her hands on the counter and lean forward. So you're telling me that the price of my abilities depends on how useful they are to me, not their inherent power?
He just shrugs to this.
I want to insight that, because I think that there's something a little bit suspect about that.
Meh. It's just how he works.
It's how he rolls.
You cannot get a read on this man.
Well then. Well, I do have my meta magic abilities, which I use almost every day.
Oh, you're a sorcerer. Convenient!
How?
What do you mean, how? You know how good your meta magic is. You even said that you use it every day.
Oh, that convenience in that sense. Okay.
Well, that's what I mean.
That it was convenient for you in some way.
And it may be.
You're not going to tell me how, are you?
Of course not.
Right. Anyway,
Ah,
would that work?
which one?
Sorcerer, my meta magic for these scrolls?
You have many meta magics. Which one?
Oh, let's see. The one I use the most is Quicken Spell.
I could give you 2 of the scrolls for that one.
Perfect then. You can have that one. But then I have another question. Would
Hold
you-
on just a second. He says, before he grabs a wand and taps it to your forehead, you see a small white globe come out before he just slowly stuffs it and the wand into a pocket and goes, "Continue, please."
What was that?
That was your meta magic.
Oh, okay, so that's gone through then. Okay. Would you accept the same thing but from gold?
I'm always willing to take gold.
No, as in, you give me gold.
Pawn abilities?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's not how that works.
Okay. In which case, if I were to give you my other most used, well, another one that I tend to use, which would be, what is it? Distance spell. How much would that be worth to you in the form of diamonds?
Diamonds?
Yes.
Daryl, do we have diamonds? And there's a long silence, and he goes, apparently we have diamonds.
Would you be willing to trade that ability for diamonds then?
How much are you looking for?
Well, let's see. Assuming that Quicken Spell was enough to get 2 of the scrolls, and they're both second level, and second level scrolls go for approximately... How much was it again? I think it was 300 each. So... 700 worth of diamonds?
I'll give you 5.
6?
Roll persuasion.
Alright, let's see. Come on, persuasion, don't fail me now. I think it failed me.
How about 550?
Deal.
Wonderful! Daryl! And as he shouts this, you just see a large diamond come down and bonk off of D's head before landing into your hand.
Would it be possible for me to get this in smaller denominations?
D reaches over, grabs a hammer off one of his tables, raises it up, and with a smash, you just see it burst into multiple smaller diamonds.
That works. So that's 550 worth of diamonds plus the half of what half I had before, so that's...
Now then,
700.
he says, this time reaching into one of your pockets, and he pulls out another globe, which he slides down his sleeve. You'll get these abilities back in 6 to 8 business days.
Business days for who?
Yes.
If we're working on drow business days, that shouldn't be too long.
Essentially a week or so, my dude.
Now then, let's see. Daryl's still looking for yours, he says, pointing at Thorgrim, and then slowly looks at Tauntaun. It's like, and you want some pretty hefty shit.
Yeah, alright, so there's the scrolls, which we both know that I can't afford now. Kind of staff, if possible, that we could look at and see prices. There's also... I would like to be able to store spell into jet.
Ain't got many stabs lying about. And spell hoarding gems are pretty...
Specifically, the ability to create such thing.
Oh my goodness.
I've got gems for fucking days to do it with.
Oh, you want the ability to make it?
Yeah.
I cannot sell you that. That's something you're gonna have to try and learn yourself.
Fair enough. Can always hope. In that case, also something to help with how squishy I am.
As you say this, he reaches over and pokes you a few times and goes, yeah, it's squishy.
Yeah, I'm not very good at getting the hit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose technically I'm very good at getting hit, I just don't take the effects.
Unfortunately, I don't know if there's anything I can do to help that. The only thing I could offer you is armor. And, you don't really look the type to wear that.
No, it was not. Don't have any, like, magic robes or anything?
Tell you what, I'll look around, and the next time you visit me, we'll see.
Awesome. So you have some stabs around, though?
Well, I wouldn't really call them stabs. They're closer to rods. They ain't particularly useful.
Rods, staves, wands, whatever.
In any case, like I said, they ain't particularly useful. We've been having a hard time coming around and finding.
Usefulness depends on the person. Get creative enough for the few things, and you can find a use for it. Like grease. So many uses for grease.
So I realize I've just been very stupid because locate object, the spell isn't what I thought it was. I thought it was like scribe, but for objects. That is incorrect.
It is not.
And all things with devilish D are pretty final, so I've heard.
Yep.
Ah, well. It just means I'll sell the scrolls off.
Hey, Daryl! What kind of...
Take one.
Daryl, what kind of stabs do we have up there?
Or wands, or rods.
Uh-huh.
Anything for magics.
Alright. He says we got a staff of healing, a staff of the Aria, and a wand of magic missile.
The wand does sound very good. I don't think I can use the other two. Although I think the bard can. How much for the wand and the staff of healing?
Which are you willing to give?
Remember, we talk gold first.
How much gold you got?
Good question. 43. I'm assuming not enough.
No, not enough for both. Definitely not enough for both. Which is why I wanted to go ahead and just get into the thick of it, wondering what you're gonna offer me for goodsies, he says, and he wiggles his fingers in a come on, hand it to me kind of way.
Secondarily, you wouldn't happen to have a platinum vial with a pickled tentacle and an eyeball in it that's roughly 400 gold worth, would you?
Oh. Oddly specific, but no.
Darn. It's a very hard component to come across. You wouldn't happen to have them as all separate items, would you?
No. If we had them as all separate items, I would just combine them and charge you for it.
Fair enough. So I'm assuming you probably don't just have a vial.
Not one that ain't got stuff in it.
Fair enough. In that case, there's the only staff and the wand. How much is the wand?
Once again, you have to offer me things, and I will tell you if it is enough.
Man. Alright.
You've been here enough time to know the rules.
Yeah, but I'm not great at memory. Let's see. We'll go with Find Familiar, Shield, Mage Armor, Rope Trick, Telekinesis, and Summon Undead.
Alrighty, I'll give you both for all of them.
Perfect!
And as you say this, you see your spellbook float in front of you and open as the pages that those are written on are torn out before turning into origami doves, and they all fly into the abyss above.
Hey, easy on my baby, Jesus!
Now then, here you go! And he motions his hand as the wand and the staff fall down into your hands.
Tauntaun happily takes them.
I was going to try and trade something for the staff.
Well, I mean, we're a bit late on that, and I plan to give it to Jubilee. I'm fairly certain she's able to use it.
Now, my friendly little punchy friend, he says, looking to Thorgrim.
Yeah, I lean in.
As you lean in, you see a pair of gloves fall down, landing on the table in front of you. And he goes,
The gloves.
"These gloves are very good at punching."
Ooh.
Starter, how are you going to wear 2 pairs of gloves at once?
Well, the last gloves I paid for with my key. I have twice as much of it now, so would that be a good payment?
Unfortunately, these gloves here are a tiny bit better than those gloves you're wearing.
Yeah, he has much key as last time, so he can pay double.
You see, I would require something a little more than just your key. See, these gloves are special. They're very good at hitting things.
Such as...
Hold on, I'm not done explaining the gloves. Wait for me to sell it to you before you start asking me for a price. And once again, you need to trade to me. I don't ask it, you offer. Now, back to what I was saying. These are really good at punching things. Very good at punching things. So good that you could say that if it mathematically equation, it would be a +1 to punching things. Now, if you're wearing these gloves and you punch something, it hurts them. But it also very special, and you can hurt them twice as much. So, basic gist of it is they are +1 gloves that you can wear over your hands. You get a +1 to your damage and to hit with them. And they have 3 charges. You can expend a charge and roll an extra martial arts die on any unarmed strike you make with it.
I like it. And the charges recharge once a day?
You get a D3 back daily.
Got it. Okay, so let me write this down. Just in case. So I have a proposition. So I could give you the key and also some money, if you wouldn't mind a little bit of both.
How much money are we talking? You gotta give me numbers.
Well, I don't have too much on me. I could maybe give you... How's 80?
How much key?
I have 6 measures.
Tell you what. If you give me all of your key and all of your gold, I'll be willing.
I'll be
willing. Yes.
He looks at Adel like,
Adel shrugs. You should be fine. You should be fine.
But what about the deal?
What do you mean? It seems like a fine deal to me.
No, I meant the one that I had with you.
Oh, that deal. Well, you're the one that has to decide which you want to do. Would you rather pay me back or pay him?
It's probably gonna be a long time before I get to pay you anyway. So, and it's... wait, Phenom, just out of character. I needed to pay you how much gold?
50.
I'm sure it was more than that.
I'm fairly certain. I think it was like... Yeah, I gave you the thing that stops you that makes you resistant to mental damage, and I asked for 1 diamond in return. So that would have been 300 gold. But you paid like 100 of that. Yeah. So 200.
So like 200 gold worth?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. It's probably going to be a bit longer, but I'll pay D, and I'll get the 200 gold later for Adel. And I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget.
Interesting.
I sent you a message in Discord to tell you what the thing does.
Okay, and I'll copy paste it to my sheet.
Interesting choice, Thorgrim. I will remember this decision.
I'm buying this to protect the group.
Adel just looks at you and she has a shit-eating grin. Duly noted.
Hey, Dad.
I'm gonna roll an insight check on that. You never have the shit-eating grin on your face. What the fuck is that about?
Tauntaun, as you say this, Dan slowly turns towards you, and you swear you hear it. Yes.
I'll be getting those spells back at a later point, right?
Of course.
Good. Time frame? That way I know when to take some ibuprofen.
6 to 8 business days.
Alright.
And Thorgrim, she's just messing with you.
Oh, okay.
Now, do you have anything for warlocks?
Thorgrim visibly
You
sighs
ain't a
relief.
warlock anymore. You don't need to worry about that.
But I have a friend who's a warlock, and I would like him to be a little more protected. And by protected, I mean the best way you can protect someone, by giving them more offensive capability.
If you give them my card, I can work out deals with them myself.
Oh, right, I do need a couple cards then.
Speaking of which, he says, holding up the card, the cards cost 8 gold apiece now.
Why are they suddenly 8? They were 5 last time.
Inflation's a bitch.
Well,
Stop
we
it!
can-
The price of your cards. It makes it hard to come in here.
don't
just
we
look.
already have a card?
He reaches
They're
over and touches you.
consumables. You have to keep buying a new card every time you come in.
Well,
It expends the card to come here. So if you ever want to come here again, you have to purchase a new card. Now, Thorgrim still technically has one, but
Essentially, Edelsarde, they're like plane shift scrolls for a specific spot.
This
How-
specific spot.
how many do we have?
technically,
Right.
technically you only got one right now, and it's held by this nice fuzzy gentleman right here.
Yeah,
He says, ruffling Thorgrim's hair.
He's not fuzzy, he's bearded. There's a difference.
Yeah, Thorgrim will hold up the card. I still got one.
Then we should be fine for now. The next time that we come here with this card, we'll buy another one.
But inflation might strike again, and they might be more expensive next time. Why would you wait? Why would you wait until next time to buy these when you can buy them now at a guaranteed price?
That almost sounds like a scam.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like a scam.
You're not trying to scam us, are you, D?
Of course not.
I think I won't roll inside that. There was something so genuine about that, of course not, that it's ringing alarm bells.
Okay.
Nope.
Of course not.
I have a question for you, D. If I were to say give you a cantrip of mine, could I get a stack of them?
A stack of cards? No.
What
Is
about 3 cantrip?
Then you would get 3 cards.
Fair enough. In that case, I will give you frostbite for a cantrip.
That
No,
is.
frostbite for a card.
Check your book.
Cantrips aren't kept in the books.
Check your book.
Hot will check his book.
You see a card in the middle of one of the pages.
Neat.
Alright. Well, I have one more thing I'd like to ask for. Do you have anything that would make my spells more accurate?
What kind of spell?
Hey,
Mainly, like, Scorching Ray.
Scorching Ray. I love that spell.
It's been proving to be very useful.
So you're looking for something like what these gloves do, except with ranged magic.
Yes.
Daryl! He sits there in silence for a minute before you all see a ring fall down and just bounce on the floor. Apparently we got that.
Don't you ever break something by dropping it like that?
Don't give Daryl ideas.
She glances up
Daryl,
at the ceiling.
face!
You glance at the ceiling, but from what you can tell, Daryl is in the dark spot that you can't see through. So you don't actually see anything up there.
Yeah, he's somewhere up there. In the attic.
Well then.
Or is it a belfry?
So, for the ring, I will offer my Scroll of Firebolt, my Scroll of Healing Word, and this. And she'll place down Zorblu's crown. Though it doesn't have any diamonds, I do remember it had other jewels in it, so she'll place it on the table.
He takes the crown and looks it over, twirls it around on a finger, and for a brief moment you hear him take about a 5-second inhale of it and goes, meh, and he sets it on the table. Doesn't seem too impressed by it, but he looks over the other scrolls, rubbing his chin. Did you make these yourself?
Yeah.
Interesting. Didn't know we had a little scroll maker. Tell you what, you offer me one of your cantrips and I'll give it to you.
Along with the scrolls?
Well, yes.
Alright. I'll offer up dancing lights.
He takes the dancing lights from you, and
They're lights that dance.
he offers the ring.
She'll take it and put it on.
You'll get a +1 bonus to hit and damage with all of your ranged spells.
Nice.
But it does require attunement.
Well, I'll just keep that on then. Man, I wish there was a way you could manually change the... Yeah, well. So, ring that adds +1 to damage and hitting those spells.
Ranged spells.
What is
Specifically the ones you roll to hit with.
What is it called, I wonder? The name of this ring.
Ring of Spell Empowerment. Or +1 spell ring, whichever you would prefer.
+1 to hit and damage of spells. Okay.
I now have no way to up my AC, but that is fine.
Alright, thank you, Devilish D.
My pleasure doing business with ya.
You're not very devilish. You're pretty polite.
I'm only half devil.
Oh, so you're a Nephilim.
What now?
Oh, what now?
That's not
What
how
did I
that
say?
works.
What
You
the fuck is a
Nephilim.
Nephilim? Wait, a Nephilim is half
That's
demon,
the
half
other
angel.
side of thing, my dude.
No, Nephilim is half demon, half angel. I'm sorry, I was thinking. My brain must have been thinking of something else. Whatever you... Forget what I was saying. I don't fucking know.
Okay,
Technically, I'm more elemental than I am devil. As he then motions over his fiery body.
I have a different question for you. Specifically for Phenom. You know Nephilim isn't actually half angel, half demon, right?
No, why would I know?
Because that's only in DMC, and they just horribly did that. A Nephilim, according to its definition, is only half angel.
Okay.
They were found specifically in the Bible.
Alright.
Just gotta educate you on that.
Well, I have nothing else I want to ask for. So. Anyone else?
Have any dusty old books in there?
There's plenty of dusty books.
Anything interesting?
I cannot confirm, nor can I deny.
But that in and of itself is a confirmation that there might be something interesting.
It's also a confirmation that there might not be. For all we know, all of the books up there could be several copies of Everybody Poops Except the Kid Without an Anus.
I love that book.
Yeah, of course you do. You're fucking weird. I hate it. It's a very dumb. Got any more pulpy healing potions?
Do what now?
Pulpy healing potions?
I always have healing potions.
But are they pulpy?
Of course they're pulpy. The pulp is what's good for you.
Perfect. How many you got?
What are you willing to trade?
Well, I kinda gotta know how many you have to figure that out.
No, I need to know how much you're trading so that I know how many to give you.
So you have an infinite amount. Got it.
No, of course not.
Well, then what if I give you too much?
Then I'll take everything and give you what I got.
Fair enough.
That is the scam, my friends.
So it is a
Fair
scam.
enough.
No, only this one specific instance.
We'll start with Tensor's floating disc and grease.
I'll give you 3.
Alright. Let's add in some dust jello.
I'll still give you 3.
Mind Spike?
I only have 3.
Alright. So it's Tensors and grease.
Correct.
Alright. Please don't tear the pages out of the book this time.
I make no promises, he says, setting the 3 vials on the table.
The book is sentient! You are harming it!
No, it's just scritches for the kitches.
How'd you know it used to be a cat?
I know a lot of things.
What's
So
my
very
middle
weird.
name?
What'd you say, Edelsarday?
What's my middle name?
Technically, from what your boy toy calls you, you ain't got a middle name. You only got 2, and it's Lady Edelsarday.
What did you call him?
Boy toy.
I'm gonna let that pass this time.
D, please. He's not her boy toy. He's her fiance.
Also, I would guess it's Vaughn or something.
How did you know?
How did I know what?
Never mind.
Just a lucky guess.
Alright, so we now have 3 pulpy potions.
With extra pulp.
Oh, extra pulp?
Extra.
What kind of healing do these do? Normally you only give me normal pulp.
44 plus 4.
Let's see, did I already have those? Or I probably did.
Anything else, my friends?
Nothing for me.
There's no idea what sort of mischief those 2 are getting up to out there.
They aren't really ones for horrible hijinks.
We should probably leave.
Yeah, the boy toy might be teaching the tiefling some more stretches.
Cute. You wouldn't happen to have a book on the introductions to Arcana, would you?
Okay, look around and get back to you on that one.
Okay,
Going through all these books takes some time.
that's completely fine. Tell Daryl I say thank you.
You can tell him yourself, he's right up there.
Thank you, Daryl!
Oh,
Oh, he just sounds so adorable. I want to pet him.
Yep,
Maybe
Adel's
they get-
going to the exit, if there is one.
there it is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, nope, that's a good chance to leave.
What awkward scene do they come back to? Let's find out now.
Yeah.
Fan service.
See you later, Daryl.
The only fan service I want, Tauntaun finally petting Daryl.
So do you all leave?
Yes.
I have 1 vote of yes.
Yes.
2
Yeah.
votes of yes. Okay.
Yep.
And you all come out of the opposite end of the carriage that you had
Wait.
entered.
See? Told you. Always a different door.
Well, what? Huh?
We went in on the other side, now we're over here.
Why are we?
I'm assuming this is probably just because it was the nearest door to the rest of the room.
This is confusing.
Hubert, I don't think it's supposed to bend that way.
Maybe if you stretched more often, it would.
Right, so I'm going to ignore those phrasings. Jubilee, I got you a present.
Looks over. Whatever
It's
awkward
big and
position
made
we're
of
in.
wood. Tauntaun's just going to say, it's big and wood.
No, I heard you the first time.
Oh, I didn't know it did.
It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Because my ping literally went from full to nothing. Or my little, whatever this is, the MS thing with bars. Yeah.
Better than bad, it's good.
Anyways, he's just gonna give her the healing staff, which in and of itself sounds so much like a euphemism. Especially considering redo of a healer is an anime.
Dear Lord.
Talk about getting a healing staff.
Just gonna write down the information before we scar our audience any further.
You're the one scoring the audience. I am not touching that.
I didn't do shit this time.
I'm not touching that anime in any way with a 10-foot pole.
No, I think that anime is supposed to touch you, but that's a different story.
Bruh.
That anime touches a lot of things.
What anime?
Redo of healer. It is a lot more controversial than Rising of the Shield Hero.
I mean, yeah.
And that one only mentioned. The other one went full, just balls to the wall with it.
Okay, so the cover of the first book has a half-naked girl on it. Interesting.
Let's move on.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of anime, actually.
Let's move on, please. Goodness gracious.
That's not why it's controversial, though.
Shut.
We can talk about this after the session if you want.
Anyway,
After
moving
the session.
on. My lady, did you find anything particularly useful?
She raises the ring. I got this. Among these scrolls, but I wanted to use them to try and find the things needed to seal Rashi, but they're not nearly as useful in that regard as I thought they'd be. That's fine. I have 2 powerful scrolls I should be able to sell.
That's a ring.
Is something wrong with the ring?
I would assume not. I would assume you wouldn't have bought a cursed item.
I don't think this is a cursed item. It's one that makes my spells have an extra kick and are more accurate.
Interesting.
Wait, question. Does it have a chili pepper added onto, like, emblazoned in it?
No.
No? It doesn't get that kind of kick?
No.
It just, for a moment, it felt like just such a you thing to do.
No, it's a boot.
No, that's Italy. Get it right.
No, this is Patrick.
Sparta!
So the people of the cult still have not shown up. The sect.
Sack, salt, potato.
No, it's me and Hubert have just been occupying our time for a while since you've been gone.
Alright, I did remember you mentioning something about a marriage.
Maybe.
Hey, Idle Sardate, side note. Can I have one of those scrolls?
Pay me.
How many gems? We both know I'm not good on gold, but I'm good on gems.
Wait, which scroll exactly? Locate object?
Locate object, yes. You have like 3 of them.
Alright, give me enough gems that are worth around 400.
About 400?
Yep.
What is that divided by 50? Or no, divided by 20.
8. Oh, but it's divided by 20. That's a bit more.
That's 20.
Apparently. Yeah. Just had to make sure I didn't fuck that up. You will give her 20 random gems.
Alright, shall I hand over the scroll?
Cool. I now have 30 20 GP gems. I feel like such a fucking rich, pompous asshole to just pay in gems.
I mean, not Scorp. Tauntaun kinda is.
No, that's the thing. He prefers paying in gold because he knows that other people can use them easily. Like, he may be rich, or technically rich if he ever gets back home. But he's never really been pompous about it. He usually just pays in gold and just kind of goes like, "Ah, well, that's how much you want for it, alright." He's not really the type to haggle. That's why he has such a hard time in devilish shops.
We really need to find our way home.
We'll find it eventually.
Your boys are. I don't know what your boys have done to my stagecoach since then, but
Most likely they are
Our
worried sick.
stagecoach.
They are either worried sick or have contacted Tauntaun's parents.
Maybe?
Well, it is unlike you to give up an interrogation so easily.
Yeah.
shut up, Hubert.
What was that, Jubilee?
It's
Nothing.
It's fine. I know that she was simply joking. And then she eyes Jubilee, and as she does, the flames over here just grow larger, right?
Yeah.
She shuts
I
up.
wasn't even talking about myself anyway. You know that.
I love how I technically have a 7th level spell now. And it's just magic missile.
Are you sure about that, Jubilee?
Tell if you actually are flirting with me now, or are you just trying to get me killed?
Yes.
He just gives you
Are
a
you-
sly smile.
Are you into dead bodies?
What?
He's trying to get me killed and possibly trying to flirt with me at the same time, so I can't tell. I think he just wants me dead to do stuff, and it's weird.
Now I think you're the one that's making a reach here.
No?
Yes, Jubilee.
Your man confuses me at times.
Yes, Jubilee. If you are a necrophiliac, please keep that between you and whatever corpse you decide to lie with. Don't let us know.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's not even funny.
Then why were you making the joke?
I don't know.
Double standards.
This got way too weird even for me.
Okay, let's move on.
What are we doing?
We're
I don't know.
We're waiting for the sect. And this is, well, waiting is boring.
Damn it! That's what I forgot to ask the man for.
What?
Camping gear.
We've been
Why
waiting
do
for
we-
a hell of a long time.
Ada will well, she can't glance up to see how much time has passed. She'll check her watch. How much time has passed?
You don't have a watch?
Yeah, I do. She has a pocket watch.
Oh, that's right. Several hours has passed. You don't know if the sect is coming, though.
Well,
They could be busy with something.
we should give them a full day, nonetheless. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, hold on. I have a much better idea. She's gonna
Thank you
scry.
for the day.
She's gonna scry the
Lord.
yes, him. Well, she's gonna step out of the square first and then scry him.
Who are you scrying?
Oborn?
I think your scribes can leave the square, they just can't come in. Remember?
You find
No.
you are not
We can't leave.
you are not able to scry him as he resists it.
Well. I'll scry
I
Charlie
think
then.
you, that,
Let's see. Okay, Charlie does not resist it, and you see him currently stretching. He seems to be better.
Where is he?
You cannot tell that much. Just looks like a vast forest area.
for some reason everything is steamy and there's water nearby and oh my.
I guess I will send him a message saying, meet us. Wait, what is it? It's 25 syllables, so, well, letters.
Words, not syllables.
Wait, 25 words?
25 syllables, the shortest message ever.
Meet us
Just
at...
spends 25 fucking letters.
This is Adel Sarday. Meet us at the castle with the big dragon.
Which big dragon?
The big dragon with food.
Which big dragon with food?
Oh, shush you.
I mean, if we're being technical, every dragon has food.
You have to be specific with Charlie.
Every dragon is big.
Well, that's the message that she sent. Worcestershire sauce. She sent to Charlie.
Okay. Charlie cannot reply back. So.
No doubt.
Why could he not? Sending allows it to be sent back.
No, it doesn't.
Where's
Yeah,
she
it does.
standing?
It does allow you, I think. Let me make sure.
I think it's because of where she's standing right now.
That's just divination spell, scrying. Or not scrying, message isn't divination, I don't think.
He's using
Oh.
sending a message.
Sending message, I'm fairly certain they're both in the same fucking school.
But sending doesn't let you send a message back.
Yes, it does.
Let's see. Creature hears a message in his mind, recognizes you as the sender, and can answer in a like manner immediately.
Okay, then why didn't...
And it's evocation.
That means that...
Because it's Charlie.
So
We'll
does-
just say he
We're
can't
talking
reply.
about the dumbness.
So does that mean the sect member
It's
chose
that
not
he's
to reply?
scared, it's that he doesn't realize.
The sect member might be busy with something.
Mother of mercy. He's probably found another goblin place somewhere. Actually, there's a chance he might have found the goblin place that we were
Did with
speaking
him
about
before.
before.
Yeah, he knows what it is, and every time Nilo did it, Charlie didn't like it much.
That's fair.
Stop calling me living phone!
Stop fucking calling.
Where's
I told you,
the...
I don't want any of your fucking things that you're selling.
You know, one of these days, Tauntaun's gonna get fucking sending, and his first thing is just going to be, I've been trying to reach you about your real estate.
We've been
We're trying to reach you about your wagon's extended warranty.
Alright.
Have you heard of credit card? Because apparently you have several.
Il's gonna sit on a rock, but then look to the others. So, there is a chance that we might be wasting our time waiting here, so I'll put it up to a vote. Do you want to go check on the goblin nest with that Rosh she has, or do you want to wait here, well, continue to wait here for the sect?
My lady, we don't know the exact location the nest is in. We only know a general area. We were never told a specific coordinate.
Yes, we were. We were told where it was, or at least the way to it. Remember when we were defending against the goblin horde? It was on a path. They told us that following the path would take us to the nest.
I don't think they meant it would take it directly. They said that the goblins were coming from the path. They didn't necessarily say that that's the way the nest is.
Oh, that is a good point. Still, I'll leave it up to everyone. If you want to keep waiting here, say aye.
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 Are we voting for waiting or not waiting?
Waiting or not waiting?
Yeah, it's waiting or
But you guys said
I-
I to.
I is waiting, nay is not waiting.
Oh. Nay, I don't like waiting.
Jubilee.
Well, I guess the safest option would be to wait, so... Aye.
Alright, let's wait here then. And she'll pull out her book and just keep reading.
Yeah,
Okay.
nope. Still hate democracy.
Fulgrim, if you would like to blow off some steam, I would be willing to spar with you.
And here I thought I was helping you blow off steam.
The
I'm
fire
fairly certain
rate.
you are making speed.
No,
The fire
no,
rages even more.
no.
Look, at this point, if she's gonna get mad at me, I might as well actually do something worth getting mad at.
Now, Julie, there's no reason to be jealous.
I mean, I'm not the one who's jealous, points to Adelsarde.
She is reading her book. The fire
I
is
really wish
the fire is
I had
growing
a-
larger.
Reading her book, the rock is melting slightly.
I think you get some enjoyment out of this too, Hubert.
What do you mean?
You like it when she's angry. Just gonna go back in the wagon and check on the small ones and see how they're doing.
They look to you. They seem to be doing fine.
I'll just keep them entertained then.
All right, Thorgrim, roll an athletics for me.
Athletics.
More than meets the eye.
That wasn't very good.
But it's definitely more than meets the eye.
So,
What's to do athletics?
you do what?
You have a 9 to athletics.
Hubert is using acrobatics
Oh, that makes more sense.
because Hubert's fighting style revolves around being speedy. Your fighting style revolves around you being strong.
Him, speed. Thorgrim.
Stay still, you little.
And as you fight with Hubert, he just keeps dodging rather than taking your blows, and every now and then will strike you with a dulled blade in the side. Not enough to hurt you, but enough for you to know that he's very clearly toying with you.
Angry Thorgrim noises.
Is there a problem, Thorgrim?
You're toying with me.
Yes.
Stop it. Ah! Just angrily start swinging more.
Okay.
Clearly, like, trying to remain focused, but like starting to get a little pissed off.
All right. Roll another athletics.
God damn it.
This time, Thorgrim, as you continue fighting, Hubert will, as you swing once, reach up, grabbing your wrist, and slam the pommel of his sword into your wrist, causing you to drop your hammer before Hubert kicks it away from you.
Hey,
What?
that's my hammer.
Yes.
Give it back. Okay, you asked for it. I'm gonna bring out the bigger hammer.
Do I need to disarm you again, Thorgrim?
Fucking try me.
Roll athletics.
Haha!
Alright, now you begin putting Hubert on the ropes.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
He is... Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you first.
Oh, fine.
I am the DM. My word is law.
Thorgrim's gonna bring out the bigger hammer and is gonna be like, okay, you asked for it, and try and disarm Hubert from dropping his first hammer with his second hammer.
Okay.
Give me back my hammer. Use his hammer to get hammer.
Are you disarming him of his rapier or his short sword?
I'm gonna disarm the rapier.
Okay. So you two will fight for a little bit. As you just manage to surge yourself, you smack the rapier out of Hubert's hand, and in one swift motion, you see him pull a dagger and goes back to being dual wielding again.
We just have we have an unending supply of weapons. It's both fair and not fair.
I wouldn't say you have an unending supply of weapons. I've only ever seen you with 3.
I mean, I technically have darts and fists. Do those count?
Not really, no.
Okay, I only have 3 then.
Yeah, let's be
What?
real here. Cards are kind of shit. So is poison.
You only have 2. Hubert points out.
Attack again.
Also, darts are really bad unless you are a monk, at which point darts are fucking amazing.
Yeah, if
It's
you
true.
specialize in them.
Because they scale with your martial arts die.
This is true. However, I also hate the fact that like the way darts are supposed to be used is with the blowgun, and then usually you would put poison on them. There's only like 75% of the fucking thing that's resistant and or immune to poison, making poison pretty much worthless.
Anyway, Thorgrim rolling athletics.
Athletics.
More than meets the eye.
I'm getting better. Damn it!
And as you think you're getting better, Hubert seems to begin trying as neither of you gain ground on each other, which leads to a temporary stalemate.
You know what? This is pretty good. I'm starting to get limber, starting to get the old muscles flexing, and yeah, this is fun. Thanks, Hubert.
Are you sure you're having fun?
Yeah, I think I'm having fun.
Your forehead vein says you're angry.
I mean, I'm always angry.
I see.
That's my secret, you know?
If you say so.
I'm like that green guy that, shows up in the, theater plays. One that's always like, rah, smash, rah.
Ah, you mean the Revengers?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what they were called.
You're talking about the bull.
Yeah, the uncomparable bulk or something.
Personally, I prefer Adamantine Man.
He's pretty cool. And Thorgrim, as he's talking about apparently the Aria equivalent of the X-Men, or the Avengers. Sorry,
Hey, that
Avengers.
works.
Aria equivalent of the Avengers.
I much prefer the weird physician.
Of course you do, smarty pants.
Weird physician?
Doctor Strange.
Arachnus Lad was also pretty funny.
Yeah,
God,
and
these
as we're reminiscing about our favorite group of strange heroes, Thorgrim is going to just keep hammering away, keep swinging.
Hubert is going to take advantage of you reminiscing and not paying full attention and get an advantage on his athletics check.
God damn it!
Don't worry. He only rolled a 17, so it
Oh,
didn't
okay.
matter.
Thorgrim, pretend you're Captain Solaria.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw my hammer at him.
With his mighty god, no one could stand in his way.
To be fair, you could actually make Captain America's shield because there's something called a Dwarven thrower, and the weapon always returns to you when you throw it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that weapon. So yeah, Thorgrim is basically trying to push Hubert against the rock so that he can land a couple playful hammer bonks.
Okay. So, you get Hubert between a rock and a hard place, and as you swing down, he will Misty Step behind you.
But hey,
What?
you used magic.
Yes.
That-
There's a resource at my disposal.
I should have said no magic. You.
But you didn't.
And despite the vein throbbing in his forehead, Thorgrim seems to be smiling and grinning. Eventually, he just takes another swing. Yeah.
As you turn around, you see Hubert reaching a hand forward, and he places a thumb into your shoulder and pushes, and you feel your arm go numb, causing you to drop the warhammer.
No, not there. Ow. Pressure points.
By the way, I'm very familiar with pressure points.
Master Ornex taught me about those. Fuck, that hurts.
I'll be taking this, Hubert says, putting away his weapons and lifts your warhammer. Or your maul.
Son of a bitch. Once I get feeling in this arm again, I'm gonna do something.
But until then, he says, raising it.
Oh shit.
You have disadvantage on athletics checks.
Shit.
Races with violent intent.
Fuck.
Once I get feeling back in my arm, you're going down. Then I should get started right away. Thwack!
Shit. Ah.
As he goes out of his way to hit your arm.
Ow!
Always take advantage of weaknesses.
Good. Where one of these days, as one arm is hanging limp, he's just like swatting with the other arm.
Do you give up?
No!
You should probably give up.
No! Reach into my pocket, pull out my glove. Well, one of my gloves that I just got, and I'm gonna slip it on, and I'm gonna.
You cannot wear 2 pairs of gloves at the same time. So you will.
Yeah. No, I took the other gloves off.
Okay.
I no longer use those.
Alrighty.
So I'm gonna punch with my left hand, which is Thorgrim is right-handed.
All right. So roll with disadvantage. You know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give you the nat 20.
But you said disadvantage.
I know what I said. My word is law.
Fine. Be nice. Fine.
Thorgrim, as you're going into fight Hubert unarmed, you suddenly get feeling back in your arm, and you throw a series of punches as apparently Charlie's training has come to fruition. You now have improved flurry of blows.
Huzzah!
It's not going to be very spectacular, but
it's better. Slightly. What does it do?
hold on, I'm sending it to you.
Oh, you're via Discord?
Yeah.
Okay. Episode whatever this is. The one where Thorgrim learns some things.
And it's a little bit better.
Kind of juicy.
As you begin throwing a series of rapid punches that Hubert does not seem prepared for, causing him to drop your maul.
I'm going to rush over and scoop up the maul and try and go for like an underhanded like swing to the chin, but I'm gonna stop. Like if it's successful, I'm gonna stop like inches from his chin.
So roll athletics.
I'd be like a checkmate.
Okay. Roll athletics.
Athletics.
Yes.
Hooey.
As you swing the maul, you just see Hubert suddenly throw a punch, slamming into your nose, and you hear a very loud boom as he will thunder smite you and knock you back into the rock.
Loud noises! Why?
Are you
I hate those.
Panics me. I thought you were going to hit me.
I wasn't going to hit you. My ears. And Thorgrim does kind of like the Peter Griffin, like,
Well, I knocked you down first. I count that as a victory.
Yeah, fine. Ow.
That's 2 for 2, Thorgrim.
Fucking you and your magic. Ow.
Magic will always give somebody an advantage in a one-on-one fight.
That's why I wanted to learn it way back when.
Why haven't you yet?
Well, to be fair, if you count Key as magic, he does technically have it.
I mean, kinda, I guess.
I mean, you can heal wounds, and you can inflict more damage with it, so...
That's fair. I guess that's my form of magic. I mean, I can't throw fireballs or,
you can also commune with nature and talk to geese.
As fruitless as that's been, I guess you're right. You know, it takes a while. I mean, I could talk to animals too, just haven't really had any chance to talk to other animals. Just the goose.
I'm sure there is a bird nearby that would be willing to have a conversation with you.
I suppose, but honestly, I'd rather just talk to you guys. I like your company, and I know that you guys have intelligent things to say, and I don't know if, like, some random bird that I found will just be like, I like birdseed.
Do not underestimate the wisdom of birds.
Especially if they're purple.
Thorgrim has absolutely no idea what to make of that. Just stares at Adel Sarday, confused.
She's continuing to read her book.
Did you guys know that some ravens turn purple in light?
Yes.
They are by far the smartest bird. A certain species of corvid makes tools.
Birds are cool.
Otherwise known as always trust a kenku. They're the best gossips around.
And now, thanks to Tasha's, they aren't stuck only using mimicry.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But fuck that. Mimicry's cool. It literally makes them just hard-ass evidence of crimes.
Mother of mercy, how long are we gonna be stuck out here?
However,
Good question.
you're the one who decided you wanted to wait, my lady.
Hello, sir, they don't say mother of mercy, don't at me like that. She's sitting waiting patiently. It's the player that's impatient.
By the way, where did we land on getting that journal entry we can all write into?
What?
What?
On Roll20. Because I know how to set up a table on those, that way we can keep track of how many rations we have in the party.
I have never heard of that, this discussion.
Oh, I asked it in the chat, and I guess it just never got noticed.
Nah, that's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's not fun to have a party count.
Well, I mean, it's also for, like, party notes and whatnot. That way, we don't just bubble around like fucking idiots half the time.
I feel even with party notes, we don't do that.
Yeah, but we wouldn't bumble around just as bad.
When we're done, when Thorgrim is done with training with Hubert, he's going to go back to this rock and he's going to regain his key points.
Okay.
Spend an hour to do that.
Tauntaun is going to get locate object into his repertoire.
Okay.
Which I think just takes a fucking couple hours.
I think it's 1 hour per spell level. For you.
So let me check. Will. No! It's 2 minutes per spell level!
Okay, so 1 hour per spell level is the normal ruling.
Yeah. And then there's Tauntaun. Bitch, I only need 2 minutes for this. I can copy a Lich's spellbook in a day.
You know, my lady, I've been thinking.
Yes?
Riki was dressed as a dancer, correct?
Yes?
If we can teach her to dance Jubilee's dances, we could possibly charge people for the show. It would be a quick way to make coin if ever we needed it.
That was a good
I think I
idea.
do.
Wait, hold on. We had this plan before when we got the stagecoach.
Yes, but that was only if
We found out
Ricky...
quite a few of us play instruments.
That's
Yeah.
only if Ricky is okay with it, and we've not discussed that with her yet.
Here's the thing. That was the plan when the stagecoach was available. However, the stagecoach is not available. It's been a long time since then. And Riki was
I
not involved.
performed with Riki already.
Yeah, but that was kind of under Adel's orders. They've never really asked her, like, hey, do you want to perform?
I asked if she enjoyed it, and I think it was a yes.
Well, if you want to do it, you gotta have a conversation with her about it.
Well, you gotta bring up the idea, because and she's in the wagon with them right now, just kind of chilling.
You wish me to go talk to Jubilee?
Go ahead.
Alone.
Wait, what do you say? No or in a moment?
Alone. You wish me to go talk to Jubilee alone?
I trust that you will not make any foolish decisions.
What about her?
If she does, she will be dealt with.
If she does, we'll be having roast tiefling.
By you or by me, my lady?
She will be dealt with.
There's no reason for you to dirty your hands after all.
Fair enough.
By the way, your book is smoking.
Oh, so it is.
You should really work on that, my lady.
I probably should.
And with that, the first drop of the rain falls down and lands.
She looks up. Oh, so
This
that's...
is why I want 10.
That's wonderful.
It started raining. She'll shut the book and pull away.
You know what? That's it. Doggerham, let's go get some tents from D.
Wait,
Do you
what?
know...
Wait, what did you say?
Let's go get some tents from D.
Have tents, Tauntaun.
Your pack should have tents.
But no.
Is it raining out there, guys?
First of all, no
Okay.
pack from character creation has a tent.
I'll get started on the hut if it's raining, because that'll protect us from the rain.
Oh, go
It
ahead.
is raining. And Hubert will begin setting up a tent.
No, don't worry. I enjoy the rain.
And Tauntaun doesn't have a tent.
You can set up the tents for Tauntaun.
Very well.
You don't like
She's just gonna lean back and on the rock and look up so that the rain just hits her face.
Hubert will sit with you.
Careful, you might pull a turkey and drown.
And we will set up the hut for the three of us, because we know the transportation doesn't last forever.
She's gonna glance over to the fire now. Is it still going?
Yes.
Damn.
was a big.
The rain is currently a drizzle, and due to how big the fire is, it's not going to go out for quite a bit of time.
Oh, okay.
What did they fuel that with?
Goblins.
Yeah, they're very greasy, don't you know?
The
That's why you
corpse.
can't use any fucking swords that you stab into them.
That's fair.
How long in the hour of meditation has passed?
You've had enough time for a short rest to occur.
Okay.
And
I should do a long rest so I get all my spell slots back. I did do scrying twice. And sending.
Hut's available for dry resting.
She likes wet
And-
resting, thank you.
if you rest in the wet rain, you'll get a level of exhaustion.
What? That's not...
Yeah, it's not exactly.
I'm sorry, have you ever tried sleeping in the rain?
I like the rain. I find it very relaxing. But
That's fine and all, but it's horrible for sleeping in.
fine, I'll go rest in the
Not
hut.
to mention horribly unhealthy.
Remember, you have to center around Jubilee.
Nah. Actually, wait, the Tauntaun's
Yeah,
staying
I-
in the hut, not the tent. I'm staying in the tent.
Well, yeah, it's not his tent. He's not going to stay in someone else's tent.
Oh, okay. Those do need their own privacy. I understand.
A
believe you
firebolt is
wish to-
gonna go right between your legs.
Jubilee, if you wish to join us, all you have to do is ask.
Okay, now you're just trying to get me in there. Unfortunately, I gotta keep the others dry, but you two have fun. And Jubilee, don't get mad at me this time. He started it this time.
Yes, don't worry, I've noticed this. You'll burn for thousands of years and your suffering will be legendary. What? Never mind.
That took a turn.
Huh?
So, it's getting close to the end of the session. Does anybody want to do anything before I call it the night?
Bro, we waited the whole session.
You did!
Why didn't we skip time?
Because I've been rolling to see if encounters would occur.
Bruh, the only one that we met.
Now we have a name for the episode. The one where we wait.
I was thinking like the one where nothing happens.
Look,
Plenty of things happen.
It isn't my fault you decided to wait here after talking to a bunch of people who may or may not reply to you.
We gave them a day. A day has passed. We're gonna be moving now.
A day has not passed.
Yeah, a day will have passed when the private sanctum goes down.
And at the beginning of next session, I will say you all had a long rest, and that's when the day will have passed.
Bruh, I swear if they didn't show up, I'm gonna be upset.
And to think, I was the one who voted to leave.
I mean, to be fair, Thorgrim, it is nice to just sit and relax once in a while.
We're relaxing, we got things to smash.
Besides, if you hadn't have sat and waited here, you wouldn't have learned your new ability.
Fair point.
And we wouldn't have a potential side objective of hunting titans.
So, does anybody want to tell me that they're going to be doing anything before we call it for the night?
I ain't doing nothing.
Nope.
I think I did enough for this session.
Alrighty. And, you know, sometimes it's good to just have a session where nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you stick around to see more of what I make. Be seeing ya.